Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon Eltef. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening to you across the world. Baruch Hashem Yahweh for this great Shabbat. And today we will speak about a few different things because there is a lot of revelation in Scripture, books that we call Scripture. And there are 70 levels of interpretations of Scripture, 70 faces. I welcome you into the room and we'll kick-start it in a second. We still have a little bit of time though, still about 9 minutes to go before the actual time we kick-start it. Let's see if other people turn up. And in the meantime, you may want to have a little copy, notepad, and take notes. Because I may go over things quickly and you may miss things if I just rush through them, because if I rush through it, you're going to miss things and you're going to have to listen to this more than once to even get what I'm trying to say, and then we can definitely look at this. And so let me just formulate my notes as well, so I know what we're talking about. Now, I want to give you a little bit of the process of finding out who you are. In other words, I saw a little video about, before I talk about that video, even a little video my brother sent me about the color black. And the eye, and there was a teacher in the video talking about the eye color to the little white children in the U.S. school, and she was talking to them about, what they thought about the situation of black people and Indians. She mentioned Indians and black, and so the kids were like, well, the kids obviously they have a perception of the worldview that at that time, it looked like to me that video was from the 50s or maybe 60s even. And you know better than me what 50s and 60s America was. It was full of racism, discrimination against blacks, Indians, Chinese, you name it. They discriminated against everybody. So, especially the Indians and the black people that lived in this country. Of course, Indians came from abroad, Chinese came from abroad. The racism level that those people, maybe it wasn't at the same level than the people who actually stayed in America. The racism that they had to live through was a lot more worse than otherwise. Now, experimentally, when she told the children, she said, okay, now color doesn't matter, let's do an experiment. She told them that I have blue eyes. White teacher, she said, I have blue eyes, and all of you that have brown eyes are inferior to me. So she said that because you brown-eyed people are stupid, and we are more clever because we have blue eyes. And then the kids listen to her, and this is Monday, she's giving this lecture on a Monday, and then she comes back on a Tuesday and she asks the kids what they think. And all that day Monday the kids are thinking, I'm brown-eyed, I'm stupid. I'm brown-eyed, I'm stupid. They keep thinking that over and over again. Guess what they are doing with themselves? They are manifesting stupid. And so the kids are really now down, the ones who have brown eyes. They're trying to find a solution to their problem. They can't find a solution because they got brown eyes. So then they come back Tuesday and they're like really depressed, the ones with the brown eyes. And the kids that had the blue eyes, they were wearing glasses, some of the kids. And the brown eyes were wearing glasses, so the brown eyes don't take their glasses off. And Tuesday, the blue eyes kids think, how do we make our blue eyes more prominent? So Tuesday, the teacher asked them, what do you think? And the students are saying, we feel terrible that we have brown eyes and we are inferior to the blue eyes, and so on. And so she says to them, okay, and then they go away into the playground, they play, and Wednesday they come back, another day passes. Now the blue-eyed children have taken their glasses off because they want to make their blue eyes more prominent. This is a very good experiment, actually. It's a very good experiment in revealing how people's thinking can change their behavior. And so she was able to use this pattern to change the behavior of little 8-10-year-old kids. And they come back Wednesday. Now the blue eyes they taken their glasses off. They got prominent blue eyes because they want to be in front of everybody, say, hey, look, I got blue eyes, I'm more clever, and I can have I can be at the front of the class. I don't have to be at the back of the class. I can be at the front of the queue. So all this worldview is now changing. So when Wednesday comes, and she notes that, and she tells them, she says, did you see that the children with the blue eyes, and I have the blue eyes, and the children with the brown eyes, and the children with the brown eyes saying, we feel terrible. We feel like, we are nobodies. We are nothing in this world. We are stupid people. We don't have any right to be here. We can't do this. So all this within the space of less than a week. And then Thursday comes over, and then they go away. Thursday comes, and now the teacher tells them that no, I simply told you this just to make a point. Blue eyes is not more superior than brown eyes. Brown eyes and blue eyes are the same, and you are equally at my level as I am at your level. And so now the kids go, here we go again. Now the kids are you lying to us? First you said that blue eyes is superior. Now you're saying, no, it's not superior. We're all the same. And so teacher tells them that, no, we are all the same. Whether you have blue eyes, whether you have brown eyes, we are still the same people. We are still human beings. And so the teacher goes through this process till she gets to Friday. Then she tells them, so now tell me, children, does it matter if you're black skin color or yellow skin color, whether you're a black person or a Chinese? And the kids get the point. The kid says, no, it doesn't matter whether you're a black skin or a brown skin. And the teacher says to the children, now do you see what happens to people when you put them down and you say that they've got different skin color and they are different to you and they are lower than you? She said, it's all in the mind. It's all perception. Whatever perception you build in yourself, that you shall be. I think that was absolutely wonderful. It was a wonderful point made by a teacher that whatever we believe, that shall we be. Now, if you believe that you are black and you are inferior, and then, or if you're in a room of people where you had maybe, let's just make an example of somebody going to Oxford University in London, in England. They go to Oxford University, and you got the brightest students there from all over the world, and there's one black student, and the rest are all, maybe they're white English people, maybe there's Chinese in there, maybe there's Arabs in there, they're also looking typically white. And so you sit in that room, and if the perception was that the cleverest people are they're like non-black color, then how's the black person going to feel in that room? He's going to feel inferior. He's going to feel like, I have to prove a point. I am better than those guys because they got white skin. See, so the perception is everything. And that's what happens in our world. Today in America, you may see these protests going on, and there is an agenda being, produced. And behind this agenda, always behind any agenda, is going to be rich and powerful men or women. So, putting the agenda to one side, Black Lives Matter or don't matter, or White Lives Matter and don't matter, these are all slogans. And the slogans are meaningless. Because what they are trying to do is build a perception. And these people that go to the streets and chant these slogans, whether they do it in London, or whether they do it in New York, or whether they do it in Florida or some other place. The point is that this is just an agenda-based slogan. There's nothing behind it. Because at the end of the day, if we really came to the molecules, the energies, all people have the same energy. In other words, they're all produced from the same energy, all human beings. Unless you're out of this world, unless you're an animal, even the animals are produced from the same energy. But the only thing the animals don't have is the human intelligence. So the point being that we, the people, whether we are black, whether we are white, whether we are Chinese or Indian, we produce a stereotype. And then that stereotype is what derives our life. And you can ask this to black children, you can ask this to Chinese children, and you will find that my conclusion will be correct. Whatever perception they have built for themselves, if a 10-year-old has built a perception that I am, black, and I am not as good as the next person who is maybe a different skin tone, then that's what they're living with, and that's what they are creating. And, there are people in this country, in America, people who've made very well for themselves. And the problem with black people in this country is this, that they are like goat and sheep. Whatever somebody says to them, they follow after them. The rich people in this world who derive this, these people just follow like sheep to the slaughter. That's the problem with black people, and that's the problem with any people who don't have a vision. And 9 times out of 10, I can tell you this, that visiting black families and having seen them, I can tell you that they don't have a vision. And the Bible says, the book of Proverbs says, in the nation, and this could be nation or people or family, any nation that don't have a vision, they will perish. Now, it doesn't matter what color they are, but I'm just making a point that whether your skin color is brown, Chinese looking, yellow. Chinese looking is not technically yellow, they just call it yellow. I don't see any yellow in there, but to me they look like white people as well. But having said that, you take the skin tone, and most of the time, the black kids in this country particularly, I wouldn't say in England, because in England it's not the same perception. Black mothers in England don't curse their children down to make them, subhuman. But in America, I have heard it and I have seen it with my own eyes, that mothers curse their children and they make them look small. And those are the things that those children carry. And when they grow up with an inferiority complex. I am black, I am not good enough because my mother said so, or because my father said so. We have broken homes in this country, many broken homes. Black families are dysfunctional, they are broken, they have a war against each other. Black men don't need the white man to kill them, they kill each other. They have a war going on between themselves, and they can't see each other succeeding. That is a bottom line. What I have observed in the last 5 years I've been in America, I've observed this firsthand. Now, you people, the folks who are listening to this, you can correct me and you can challenge me for that. And you can say, no, Rabbi, you're wrong. This is not the case. But I will show you home after home after home where we have black kids in prisons because they went into drugs, because they joined some local street gang, because a mother said you're good for nothing, because a father said you are worthless. And those are the things that drive the black families apart. Until people in this nation, until mothers in this nation and fathers in this nation, until they begin to respect their own children, this thing will never change. You will never be able to change it with Black Lives Matter or whatever slogans you want to hold. You are just sheep led to the slaughter. And the only rescue, your only tool, and I'm going to say this broadly, is Torah. Because Torah will not only give you life, it will remove inferiority complex from your life. It will give you direction. It will give you vision. It will give you certainty, not just hope, certainty that you are more than what your mom told you and more than what your father told you. But if you reject Torah, which is most of the black people do, they reject Torah, they want to, be part of their little gang, their little neighborhood yardies, they want to be part of that, then the bullet is your, the bullet is going to be your reward. Let's just put it this way. And this is the same for London, this is the same for France, and this is the same for New York and Chicago. Because if you're going to make yardies, and if you're going to make drug gangs your refuge, then you have a bullet that has your name on it. The only way you can remove that name from that bullet is if you grab onto the Torah. That is life. And that is what Yahweh told the people of Israel at one time, the children of Israel, and many of you are. And He said that choose life. But if you're going to choose a gang next door, if you're going to choose, friends who support you, who are into drugs, then your life is going to be exactly as your parents told you. Because they already set the standard for you. They already told you you're worthless. Because they set their standard. It is your job to prove them wrong. Because you can't say, because my mom said this, my dad said this. You have to prove them wrong. Unless you prove them wrong, you're going down the path of destruction. So there are two roads. One road that leads to life, and one road that leads to death. Now, you might think everybody's going to die. But no, we're not talking about death. We're not talking about physical death. The moment you choose a road of death, you're already dead. You're a walking zombie. You will never be anything but a zombie. Because you did not utilize the God-given right that you have to be the best person on this planet. You did not use that right. And it is for you. No one can force you to say you have to. You have to make that choice. It's a choice. It's not a forced thing that you can force somebody. We cannot change people. We cannot force people to change. I can take you to the water and say, here is the water. It's nice, it's fresh. You can drink from it, but I cannot force you to drink it. You might say, this water is poisonous. Maybe it's trying to kill me. And this is the mentality that I have to deal with in America. In America, I have to deal with this kind of mentality where people say, he's trying to give me poisonous water. But yet, the water is not poisonous. It is what he believes or she believes that is poisonous. And I was having a conversation this morning on GMO. And my conversation went like this, that I have actually eaten GMO since I was age 1. I've been eating GMO. Born in Pakistan, brought up in England, spent part of my life in America, and traveled the whole world. But I've eaten GMO all my life. And I'm still here, still standing, complete health. I got 0 diseases. So, yet people over here tell me, GMO is bad for you. And I tell them, go find your life. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because it's not GMO is bad. It is what you believe is good or bad. And GMO was the best thing that happened for Pakistan in the 60s. We got this technology back in the 60s. When Pakistan had food shortages. In the 70s, they lacked wheat. They had to go to America, Australia, and, they had to purchase tons and tons of wheat. I used to watch the commodity markets when I was 20 years old, when I was 19. I was about 19 years old, and I used to watch the commodity markets. Do you know that? I used to go, on the papers, I used to pick up the papers, and I used to read commodity prices. And I used to see what's the price of wheat, what's the price of corn on the American stock, on the SIBO, in the Chicago Board of Trade. And I used to look at that, and I draw a little graph, and I used to plot a little graph that said, well, the price of wheat is now this and now this, and then suddenly I'll find that the wheat price will shoot up, and then it'll come down, and I'll say, why did that happen? And then I'll read about, I'll try to get some news. Did it happen because of some news item, or did they have too much wheat or too little? And it turns out that either there was a disaster, like maybe a hurricane came in the US, in the wheat belt, or that Pakistan suddenly ordered 100, million tons of wheat or something, and the prices shot up. So I realized back then that Pakistan as a country was shortage of wheat, and they had to buy wheat from America, or they had to buy wheat from Australia, because Australia was the next biggest producer. So, in the end, my point is not GMO, it's what you believe. If you believe GMO is bad for you, then yes, it's bad for you. If you believe GMO is total baloney, then it's nothing. So, that's basically where it goes. And, those of you who believe Christ died for you, good for you. And those of you who don't believe it, good for you as well. It's what you believe it, what counts. So, coming back to the point of this Parsha, Torah. We are here for Torah. We're not here for Jesus died for me and I'm now saved and blah, blah, blah. Keep that to yourself. So, if that's what you believe, you're welcome to believe that. Like I just told you, If you believe GMO is bad for you, then it is bad for you because your belief is what will dictate where you end up. That's where you will end up with your belief. If your belief is that GMO is going to kill me, then you will be killed by GMO. You're already killed because you're a walking zombie anyway. Because when you did not use the God-given right that you have been given, then you're already dead. You're already a walking zombie. You don't need to hold a placard and say Black Lives Matter because somebody will shoot you down anyway because that's what you believe. Because the people who carry placards that say Black Lives Matter, what does it actually intrinsically say? It says that I am otherwise, if I don't hold this placard, I feel I'm worthless. See, what message are you passing to the universe? What message are you giving to God? That, hey, unless I protest, I am not worth anything. That's my point. Those of you who hold these placards, and you think that you're fighting against George Soros and Bill Gates, and I don't know how many other billionaires out there, and a lot of you do think like that, that means that you already have a psychology, you have a psychological complex that you're inferior, that you have to fight George Soros to prove it, you have to fight Bill Gates to prove it, you have to fight a Melinda Gates Foundation to prove it, every foundation with the wording to, I don't know, global, call it global control, call it vaccines, call it whatever you want to, give it whatever name. And all of these things will drive you to your grave faster than you can say blink. You will drive yourself to the grave very fast because these are your beliefs that are going to drive you to the grave. But if you set all those aside, like I did when I was 19 years old, I set everything aside and I said, I don't care what people think. I had my aunties in my family, and my auntie said to me, they said that, why are you wasting time with, reading these books and wanting to go to university? You got a job, continue to do your job. And they believed, now it was their belief and not mine, their belief was that I should stay in a factory and just continue to do my, start at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish at 7, slave away for the rest of my life for, $200, whatever it was, the money at the time, $200 or $150 or even $100. So they thought that was the best life I could have. But I told them, no, I have something better. And it's the better that I'm going to get, not the one that I'm in. So my belief is what drove me. And it is your belief what will drive you. If my belief was that this is the best I can do for myself, then I was already dead. I was also a walking zombie like some of you today. But I didn't believe that. I believed that I was worth much more. I believe I was smart. I was clever. I could get much better salary. I could hit a 6-figure sum. I believed all of that. As a 19-year-old, by the way, not as a 30, 35-year-old. I believed when I was 19 that I am extremely smart. I'm not meant to be in a factory line. I'm not meant to be producing cups and plates and curtain rails. And with that belief is what drove me. And when anybody said to me, no, you're too old for university, they'll say you're too old for school. See, in England, they don't call it high school. They call it university. Or they call it higher education in a college. So there's two types of institutions in England. There's the colleges that can give you diplomas. There's the universities that can give you degrees. So those are the two types of institutions that people use as an example, and they'll say, hey, you're too old for university. You're already 21 years old. What are you wasting your time for? That's the kind of talk, public talk, family talk that I had to wade through. But you know what I did? I was much smarter than that. You know what I did? I took a piece of paper and I wrote my top 10 goals. These are my top 10 goals for 1990. And I'm going to be at this place by the end of this year. And I would read them religiously every morning. Every morning I'll get up, I'll go to my door. That's where my goals were pasted. And I would read them. I wasn't even married at that time. So I would read my goals and I would then stop. And I would imagine that I am doing those things in the future. It hadn't happened yet. I didn't have the home I wanted. I didn't have the car I wanted. I didn't have the job I wanted. All I had was criticism. People around me, my family telling me it can't be done. It's too late for me. I'm already 21 years old. It's too late. And then I had other people around me saying to me, saying to me that you have to do these things at 15, 16, you have to go to school, you have to get O levels and A levels. That was the qualifications in England at the time. GCSEs came afterwards. They used to call them O levels at one time. Then you have to get the O levels and the A levels. Later they became GCSEs and so on and so forth. But my views were set. I was determined. I had a vision and I knew where I was going to be because I knew my path. But everybody else around me, they were walking like cuckoos, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So this is where you need to be. You need to be with a vision. You need to know what you want and you need to write it down. Because if you don't write it down, then you're as an idiot as the rest of them that live with you and call you your family. Because you must know where you're going. You must have a destination. Without a destination, you will never arrive. So give yourself a destination, sit down and think, what is my destination? Where do I want to be in 10 years' time? And then, you will sit down and you will know your answers because only you can tell where you want to be. I can tell you where you want to be. So when you decide that, you will sit down, you will write a list and you will say, I need to have a job that gives me maybe, $70,000. I need to be living in a home that is 3-bedroom, maybe 3-bedroom apartment. And you say, I need to be driving a car that is such and such model. Then these are the goals that you write. I need to be married to a woman that's such and such qualities. I need to be married to a man that has such and such qualities. When you write those things down and then you sit down, now that is your goal sheet. That is your, what we call, see, when I went to university, they taught us that you got to have a statement. When you make a company, you must have a statement, a goal statement, or a mission statement. They call it a mission statement. And they say you must have a mission statement. And if you don't have a mission statement, then you shouldn't have a company, because a company must have a mission statement. So what is your mission? So as a human being, you must have a mission statement. Your mission statement is one paragraph. Mission statement tells you what person you're going to be, where you want to see yourself in 10 years' time. Because when you go for a job interview today, let's say in 2020, you went for a job interview, they'll say to you, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And if you turn around and say, I'm not sure where I see myself in 5 years' time, they tell you, okay, thank you very much, sir. It was nice interviewing you. We'll contact you. And you know what? They never write to you. You never get a response back because you gave the wrong answer. So I used to sit down in England after I became successful with a 6-figure salary and driving a black BMW and a Mercedes parked in my driveway. Guess where everybody went to get their advice? I had a whole queue of people lining up outside my house to tell them what to do and how to be successful. And I opened my door to everybody. I didn't say, oh, go away, I won't tell you. I said, come in, welcome. I will say to my wife, make tea for them, and I will, tell them what they need to do. They brought their children with them, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. Please tell him what he needs to do so he can be successful. You're a model for us. Pakistani people, in the town I lived, they would bring their sons and they say, you're a model for us. You came from nowhere and look at you today. My goodness, what did you do? And I want my son to do the same thing. And so I took those children in my hand and I said, okay, I will show you what to do and I'll tell you what you need to do. And I will tell them exactly what I'm telling you today. You must have a mission statement. What is your mission? Well, my mission is to be $1 billion empire with, 100 stores. I want to be a billionaire with 100 stores. And I want to be able to serve my community, my country, and I want to be able to supply all sorts of electronics or all sorts of LED TVs or all sorts of telephones, whatever. It could be 1,000 different things. But you need to decide that. And if you're going to tell me, wishy-washy, I like to be a millionaire. But what the hell is that? Millionaire for what? You don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know what you want to do. How can you just be a millionaire? So you must know what that millionaire term means to you. Because you can't just be a millionaire by sitting on your table and saying, I like to be a millionaire. Because if it's I like to be, you'll never become a millionaire. You'll always be poor. So when you say that you want to be a millionaire, make sure that you have a mission statement. The mission statement is what will drive your millions and your billions. That's what all these people do. You know, you can criticize George Soros for all you like. And you can criticize Bill Clinton, and you can say all sorts of bad things about Mr. Trump. That's all fine too. They're all billionaires, by the way. They all have a big B against their name. So guess what they're thinking? They're thinking, hey, I got all the money in the world. To hell with all this, effers. They're going to say that. So my point is this, right? Don't waste your time. Don't, sit all day long and all day strong criticizing George. I have people like that. They do that. That's all they think about. If George Soros is driving these protests, he's doing this, he's doing that. Who cares? Who gives a F about George Soros? Who cares? At the end of the day, you should only care about your future and about your present. Where are you now and where do you want to be? That's the only two things you need to care for. And the Torah is what will take you there. Torah will take you there because the Torah will give you a vision, the Torah will give you rescue, the Torah will give you life, and it will give you finances to get you there, and it will give you the methods. But problem is that everybody reads the Bible like a storybook. Because when you read the Bible like a storybook, you will never ever make it. I know people who have gone to churches 50 years. They tell me, I've been going to church for 50 years. But what they're going to show for it? Nothing. So it's just, you go to church for 50 years, what are you going to show for it? Oh, well, I've joined the Sunday service for the last 50 years, but yeah, I've got nothing really to show for it other than, they'll say the Lord has been good to me, and the Lord has given me a nice husband, and I have a nice 2 kids. Okay, that's their sum total of their life, by the way. And I can go to another person who never been to church, never stepped foot into a building called church, and yet he also has 2 children, he also drives a nice car, he also has a nice life, what he believes is a nice life, but he never went to church. So, but he actually might even be better. He might even be better than the persons that go to the church. And then you know what the church people are told? Mammon is bad for you. Money is evil. Everything to do with money is evil. And they'll say to you, see the billionaire over there? See what kind of nasty things they're doing behind the scenes? I mean, they don't have no evidence. They don't have no evidence to prove an iota of it. But they will say, so-and-so person, Bill Gates, is trying to kill the world. Melinda Gates is trying to kill all the black people. That's the kind of theology, it drives everything. See, if you follow any of those dogma and theologies, then you are part of what I call the conspiracy camp. And the part of the conspiracy camp, what are you going to get out of it? Are you going to get the $1 billion from Bill Gates and become a billionaire? The answer is no. Are you going to be the person with the best company in the world? The answer is again no. So why even waste time with such dogmas? Why waste time? There's a black guy, and Rabbi Kefa is the one who was talking about him at one time. Rabbi Kefa, do you remember that black guy who made a lot of money on the stock market, and he paid for everybody's fees in Atlanta, in the colleges there. He picked up, one of the colleges, and he said, I'm going to pay for the fees of all these kids over there. And, a lot of black kids go there, probably white too, so he basically paid for the whole fees. And this guy is very successful, and by the way, he's black. Very successful. He's probably also a billionaire. But he doesn't think like you, because he doesn't think that George Soros is bad, and President Trump is no good, he's driving an agenda, and Bill Gates is evil. He doesn't think like that, because if he thought like that, he'd probably be living in a ghetto, in projects, and he will be, his mother and father will be telling him, you're good for nothing. See, that's what makes difference between you and that person. Because he had a vision, he had a statement that this is where I want to be when I grow up. This is where I want to be with my company. He made it. Baruch Hashem. I'd say kudos to him. He did absolutely wonderful. Irrespective of being black or not, he did absolutely wonderful, because now when he has the money, he can do great things with money. See, he doesn't read the Bible the same way you read it. He reads it differently. So this is very important. This is very important that we understand that we need to stop reading the Bible like a storybook. The Bible can be interpreted, and I'm talking about the scriptures, whether you call New Testament or Bible, that's fine by me. but it can be interpreted 70 different ways. What you probably have received is one interpretation. You have not seen, nor heard, nor experienced with 69 other interpretations. Therefore, you lack interpretations of the Bible. Now, coming back to the vision, and coming back to the visions that our prophets received, the visions that Moses got, and all of those things. I mean, coming back to the Bible and to this Parsha, Behaalotecha, we come to that, which is the book of Numbers, chapters 8, verse 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and say to him, When you light the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the menorah. And Aaron did so. He lighted the lamps there over against the candlestick, as Yahweh commanded Moshe. Now, I want to show you a pattern over here. I want to show you a little pattern. Moses went to Aaron and said, Aaron, my brother, this is what you need to do. Now, remember, Moses had left Egypt years ago. He had left Egypt, he ran away, he was a prince, and Aaron was always there. Aaron was always in Egypt. He was always part of the priesthood. That never changed. Now, Moses comes back and says, my brother, listen, I'm your younger brother. Now, he was number 2, because Aaron was the elder brother. Remember that also. It's very important in this particular scenario. He wasn't a older brother, he was a younger brother. Now, when you go to your older brother, like if you went to your older brother and you said, if you said to your older brother, such and such and such, he'll say, get away, you little snipe. He'll say to you that, I'm older than you, you're not older than me. I know more better than you do, so he will not listen to you. An older brother will technically tend not to listen to you, because they'll say, I'm more wiser than you. I have more years than you. So they usually try to lord over you. And for that, Rabbi Kefa put out a link for this college, this man who gave away the fees for this college. And let me have a quick look, see if I can open this article and go to link. Give me a moment. I'm just opening that link. Morehouse College graduate students' loans to be paid off by billionaire. Okay, there you go. So this is no lies over here. It says that 396 young men began the day as students in caps and gowns, ready to graduate from Morehouse College, full of hope, but burdened in most cases with the debts that finance their education. Okay, so this is in Atlanta. Robert F. Smith, the billionaire investor who founded Vista Equity Partners and became the richest black man in America. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. The rest you can read for yourself. My point. His skin color didn't matter. He didn't care about where George Soros was. He didn't shove around all day long listening to, how evil Bill Gates is and Melinda Foundation. He spent his time on his vision of his company, of how to invest. He's written books as well, by the way. And he did that. All day long, all day strong, he only figured out how to make himself successful. What he needs to do. What is the receipt for success? How do rich people live? He probably read and followed every one of those books. And he spent time in the shadow of millionaire and billionaires before he became a billionaire himself. That's the way you become a billionaire. If you want to become a doctor, you will spend time with doctors, because you want to be a great doctor. You're not going to spend time with plumbers, are you? Because you don't want to be a great plumber, you want to be a doctor. So where should you be spending time? Little minds think little things. Great minds think great things. You are capable. You can do great things in your life. But where are you? There was a movie. I saw a movie yesterday. I don't think it's a true story. I think it was just a story, just to make a point. And in that movie, there was a young man. He was a soldier. And he was very aggressive. He couldn't control his anger. When he would go to a bar, he'll get into a fight, and he will beat about 10-15 people up, and then he'll go away, and he'll say, police will call him in and say, why did you beat these people up? He'll say, oh, I just got angry. And I couldn't control my anger. I had to beat 10 people up. That was it. I didn't want to beat 10 people, but they provoked me, and I beat 10 people. And so the police tried to arrest him. He fought the police, and he beat them up as well. And it almost sounded like that scene from First Blood. He beat up the whole police station, and then he left. He took their gun as well. He went back to the military, and then the police goes to the military and says to his captain, they say to his captain, hey captain, your soldier, he came to the police station, he beat us all up, he took our gun, and can we please have our gun back? And so, because military men who go and beat up the police in such a scenario, the police can try to arrest them, but actually technically they cannot arrest them, because only the military police is allowed to arrest them. Because there's a little code that if you are a military man and you are in a street and you are driving at 100 miles down the road and policeman stops you. Now, if you're in a military vehicle, policeman has no jurisdiction over you. He cannot arrest you. He cannot give you a ticket. He has to report you to your military police. That's, by the way, the military protocol. So he goes back to the military, and the captain calls him in and says, what are we going to do with your anger? You have anger issues. You keep doing these things, you keep getting into problems and trouble. Eventually he sends him to a psychologist. And the psychologist is one of the top psychologists in India. And he happens to be his own father. And he had left his father 10 years ago because he got into an argument with the father. And the father said to him, you're worthless. He said to him, you will always be fighting with everybody. And you will be alone. Because of this anger issue, you will end up alone. You will lose your relationship. So he goes back to their father, and the captain is about to throw him out of the army because he shoots a terrorist. They have a terrorist in their prison. And he goes there, he feeds the terrorist some meal, and he says, it's time for you to die. And he pulls out his Beretta pistol and he shoots him in the forehead, kills him. And the military calls him in. They do a court-martial, and they say to him that you're about to be finished. We are sending you off, and that's it. You're done with the military. He says, no, please give me a chance. I want to go to the border. I want to fight at the front line. Just send me to the front line. And they say, no, we cannot. And then he has he has another person who is very influential, and he knows the general. So he calls the very influential person. He says, please help me. Tell this general not to kick me out. So he goes to the general, he speaks to the general, he says, look, he's a kid, give him a chance. He made a mistake, but look, he shot a terrorist. He didn't shoot a citizen of the, Indian place. He shot a terrorist. Come on, he's killed a terrorist. He's not some, big guy. And so the general says, okay, on one condition. There is this top psychologist in India, and he needs to go to that psychologist, and he needs to get his signature. If he says that give him one chance and let him go to the border, we will send him to the border. So they send off this kid, and it turns out that the kid's psychologist is his own dad. You got to watch this movie. It's actually got subtitles on it. It did have English subtitles. So he said, you got to go to your own dad. And he goes, you want me to go to my own dad? He goes, he's the one who sent me here. He's the one who told me I'm worthless, I'm no good, and I'll be nowhere. He goes, that's right. You got to go to that person. He's the one who has to sign off. Otherwise you cannot go to the border. And so then what happens, Daniel is saying that movie must be made about my dad, because that's what happened when he was in the military in Jamaica. His brothers still talk about it till this day. But the police did not arrest him, and the military police didn't like the police during that time. So, absolutely right. So what happens, this kid is very good. He's very good. He's a great fighter, but he can't control his anger. Every place he goes, he fights. He gets a girlfriend, he's okay with her for a few moments, then he starts fighting with her as well. She says to him that you're in the military, and you got to go to my dad, and you got to say to my dad, hey, I'm in the military, and my dad may not like it because, he has his own perception about military men. And he goes, then this kid becomes really angry with his girlfriend. He says, you're telling me that the military job is bad? I have to tell that to your dad? He goes, no way. He said, I don't care about your dad. Military job is a great job. I'm not going to tell your dad why I'm in the military. He goes, get away from me. And he breaks his relationship with the girl as well. In other words, he does have a problem. He has to deal with his problem of anger, because his anger is ending up losing every relationship he gets into. He loses the relationship with his dad. His mom doesn't know where he's gone. He doesn't come back home for 10 years. He joins the military. And after that, he does the same mistakes in the military. He does it in the civilian life. And then eventually, the military sends him back to the father, to the top psychologist in India, and now he's got a signature. And what the father says, you know what the father asks him? Who are you? When he comes and sits in the office, he doesn't pretend to be his dad. He still pretends to be a psychologist. He says, who are you? And the kid becomes angry. He says, why are you asking me who am I? He goes, I'm a soldier. He said, what do you mean you're a soldier? He said, I ask you, who are you? And when he asks him, who are you? The kid keeps arguing with him, I'm a soldier. That's what I am. And he goes, no. Who are you? And so he gets really angry. And he goes, okay, we'll speak tomorrow at 10:30. You can go now. And so he sends him off. He comes the next day. He asks him the same question. Then the kid becomes really infuriated. He says to him, shouldn't you be asking me, after 10 years you see me? It was you who told me that I will be worthless and I will have nothing and I will be without any, family. And shouldn't you be asking me, son, how are you? Instead you're asking me, who are you? So he takes it out against his dad. He says, you're a bad man and you're a stupid psychologist and your psychologist is not going to help me. So anyhow, so what happens in the end, the psychologist turns around and he says, look, I'm going to give you a chance. He says, I'll give you 21 days. He goes, what do you want me to say? He says, if you got the guts to say it, say that that I'm your son. If you haven't got the guts to say it in front of public, he says, okay. He goes to the public meeting. He calls everybody, calls all his students, about 3,000 students in the whole. He says, he stands him up. He says, see this man here? He says, this man is my son. He goes, okay, now son, I've said it. Now you okay with that? Now what else you want me to prove? And so the man, the son goes to him, okay, that's no big deal. You're saying instead of 3,000 people, I'm your son. He goes, you need to just sign this piece of paper and I'll be out of your life. He says, look, I'll give you a test. He goes, give me a test. Give me something to do. Don't ask me who you are. Give me a test, and if I don't do the test, then you can throw me out. He says, okay. He goes, sir, give me a test. He says to his dad, sir, give me a test. He says, okay, I will give you a test. You have 21 days. You must control your anger for 21 days. No fighting, no breaking people's furniture, no trying to defend the poor and kill other people in the process. So he says, go away, and for 21 days, if you have managed to survive for 21 days, I will sign this piece of paper happily and give it to the military that you are worthy to go to the border, because you can now control your anger. So the kid goes away, and he does exactly that. Every place he goes, there's a fight to be made. There's a gangster beating up some woman and beating up some man, and obviously he's going to get involved. So what he does, as soon as he sees that, he remembers what the psychologist told him, that you cannot control yourself, you can't control your anger. You need to learn to control your anger. And so he turns around. He says, you know what, I'm not going to walk through that street. He turns around and he walks away. And it's very hard for him to walk away, because all his life he told himself that I will defend whoever I need to defend, and I will kill whoever I need to kill in the process. I'm not going to allow tyranny, I'm not going to allow injustice, and with those ideals, he cannot control his anger. So, in the end, for him to pass 21 days, it was a miracle and a half. That film is really good movie, because he had to spend a lot of time to examine his life and say, what am I doing wrong? I lost my girlfriend, I lost my family. Why? I'm now losing the military as well because of my anger issues. So eventually this kid, because there's gangsters there in the streets, they want to kill people, and he could fight and kill them all, but he doesn't want to. So he walks away from all of that. And then one of the gangsters says, hey, we want to use your car and drive this man to this place. They just stop him in the middle of the road. And he puts the gangster in his car. He says, where would you want to go? Oh, take me there, take me here. So he goes to all the different places, committing all the crimes, extortion, beating people up, taking their money. But he stays quiet. He tells himself, no, you are not going to do nothing. You're going to be composed, and you're going to do what you already told the psychologist. You will prove that you can control your anger. By the 21st day, he comes back. He's witnessed a murder. He's witnessed several killings. But, he goes to the police. The police, the man calls him as a witness on the 20th day. And he says, he saw this man being killed. He was there. And then the soldier says, I don't remember. I just don't remember. So he pretends like he don't remember, because he don't want to get involved with fights again with other people. Because he knows that as soon as he says, yes, it was this drug lord that killed him, he knows that he has a fight on his hand. He might kill him, or he might get killed. So he says, I don't remember. I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember. And so he passes his 21 days. He goes back to his father. And the father says that, the psychologist says, you've done your test. I'm very happy for you. Here is the signature. And he says, no, I don't want that piece of paper. He says, I am not the person I was 21 days ago. He said, 21 days ago, I stood for justice. I fought anybody that I saw was wrong. And yes, I killed people. But he said, 21 days later, I don't even know who I am. He goes, I no longer stand for justice. I no longer fight anybody. And I turn my other cheek. He says, I have lost myself. He says, I need to go find myself now. Because what's the point of me going to the border when I don't even know who I am? So he asks him the same question, who are you? And then he goes quiet. And then after he goes quiet, he says, I need to find myself, who am I? And he leaves the room. This all people, they're sitting there, all big, like a big hall, auditorium, several thousand people, and he's about to be getting his signature. And getting this signature was no small feat, because there was another guy there that was trying to get a signature from the same psychologist, and he's been there 2 years. He didn't get a signature. And he became his PA to the psychologist. And when this kid comes and he says, who are you? Are you the PA? He says, no, I'm also in the military. I came to get a signature, and I've been here 2 years and I can't get a signature. He says, I don't want to be here 2 years. So I need the signature and go. So even though he gets the signature, now he's lost himself. So in the end, the sum total of that movie was, this man has to answer the question, who am I? And when he answers that question, who am I, that's when his life changes. Anger doesn't change his life. It only makes it worse. He gets into problem with police, with military, with girlfriend, with mom, with dad, with everybody, because of anger issues. So my point to you today, Mishpacha, family of Bnai Israel, is who are you? You need to answer that question. Who am I? You are part of Israel. And if you are part of Israel, if you can answer that question, that I am part of Israel, then Torah is your tool and Torah is your way of living. When you take the Torah as a tool and as a way of life, you will never look back at Bill Gates, you will not look at Mr. President Trump, you will not look at George Soros, you will not look at Melinda Gates Foundation. You will forget about all of those things. You will not be walking up with placards saying Black Lives Matter. In fact, you will become a voice. But in order to become a voice for the whole nation, you need to ask yourself the question, who am I? I think I wrote a book about that. So maybe it's a good idea to read that book. So this is why I said that this is a question that every individual on this planet needs to ask themselves. Who am I? Or somebody might say it in another way, who are you? And you can't say, I am Robert Smith. Because your name might not be Robert Smith. Your name might be something else. So you need to answer that question, who are you? And that's a question I answered when I was 19 years old. When everybody said to me, who are you? They said, you are a worker in a factory. Because they were defining my scope. They were saying, you, Mr. Altaf. They called me Altaf. They didn't call me Simon back then. They said, you are a worker in such and such factory. That's who you are. You know what that meant? They said, you are worthless. You are nobody. You are somebody who earns, $3 an hour. Who the hell do you think you are? That's what they were telling me. That's the message I was getting. So when they said to me, who are you? I told them, no. I know who I am. and I am a great guy, and I am a person with money, wealth, prosperity, homes, beautiful wife, children. That's who I am. But you see, it hadn't happened yet, and I hadn't proven it yet. So I had to prove it to myself and to them that that's who I am. So it may be with you. You may have to prove that. You may be being asked the question, who are you? They're not saying to you who you are. They're not saying to you, your name is Tom Jones. Hey Tom, if Tom is your name, they'll say, hey Tom, your name is Tom Jones. Yeah, you Tom Jones? You say, no, I'm not Tom Jones. They're not saying to you, you're Tom Jones. They're saying to you, you're worthless. When somebody asks you that question, who are you? They're not saying to you, hey, great man, come over here, sit over here, let me get your pina colada. They're basically telling you you're worthless. You're nobody. Get out of my sight. That's the kind of question that you have to address. And I'm giving you the solution today, that question. That question, you're getting a solution. Because you will be asked that question if you're not already asked. Your family will be asking you that question. And there'll be a roundabout way of asking that question. They don't have to say exactly in those words, who are you? They could ask it in a number of ways. And you're clever enough to know what they're asking. And then you need to have the mission. Your mission statement. Who am I? What am I? Your mission might be, I am a millionaire. I have a multi-million-dollar empire. I have several cars. Maybe you're a car salesman owner. Maybe you are owner of of millions of dollars of stock. So you need to answer that question. That can only be answered by you. I will never be able to answer that question for you. But I can take you there. I can build you to answer that question. And I can show you how to achieve that wealth in real life. I'm not talking about mumbo jumbo, follow my course and do this. No, I'm telling you a proven method that I followed, that you too can follow. And you will never look back. Ever. So you have the Kohen in the gate. You don't even know what that means. People are dying to speak to me in Pakistan, they're dying to speak to me for 5 minutes. They want 5 minutes of my time. And here I am, and what's happening here? Crickets in the room. That's the person I am. I can change your life in a second. I can teach you things that will change your life in 3 seconds. You'll never be the same person. You'll never be what your mom and dad told you. You will be what I tell you. You'll be the great man, you'll be a great guy, and you will be a multi-millionaire, even a billionaire. One day will be in your grasp. That's the kind of technology that I get from the Torah. You don't get it from 3G, you don't get it from 4G, and you don't even get it from 5G. You get it from the Torah. And the Torah is a wonderful book. It's got a lot of hidden wisdom in there. But we have not even fathomed half of it. We've only began to, scratch the surface. And if we scratch the surface and, we're only drinking the water from the top of the fountain, think deep underneath the fountain how good it is. The richest man his name is Robert Smith. Robert F. Smith, I believe. Rabbi Kefa, let me just double check if that is his name. Robert, he's the richest black man in America apparently. Robert F. Smith, he owns Vista Equity. And after that I'll put another one. There's a black woman who's very rich in America. And Rabbi Kefa, you know that, and rest of you will know that as well. The richest black woman in America. She's also a billionairess. But you need to maybe read her story too. And you will find out that the richest black woman in America went through a lot of hardship, abuse as a child, as a growing up young woman, went through a lot of abuse. And today she owns a TV network and other things and very famous and very successful. So, I would read her biography as well to help you to understand where she came from. These are good biographies. They will help you to shape your world. You guys should know her, because she's a black woman. Rabbi Kefa? Anybody? You were telling me that the richest black woman is in America and you don't know her? And I'm from outside? Exactly, Rabbi Kefa. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is one of the richest black women in America. You should all know her, and you should all be reading her biography. It's a great biography about her. You should be downloading it, reading it, buying it on Kindle or whatever, or paper form. Read it, because she will be an inspiration to many of you. Don't put people down because they've got $1 billion attached to them. Use it for inspiration. Because inspiration is what will get you to where you want to be one day. You need a lot of inspiration. You need a lot of hand-holding and a lot of gratitude. That's what will get you there. So coming back, if I've kind of veered off the the island a little bit, so I want to come back and I want to tell you about states. Because the Torah Parsha, and I stopped short when I said that Moses gave instruction to Aaron. Remember Aaron became the high priest, and the Israelite priesthood kicked off from Aaron. There are other people who are called priests in the Bible, but they were technically not a high priest and not the priesthood. The priesthood is only one, and that is Aaron's priesthood that Moses established. And Moses says to Aaron, Moses is the second brother to Aaron, younger brother. He says, older brother, this is what you need to do. Build a menorah. This is how the menorah looks like. And then you're going to light it. And you're going to light it every day. And Aaron says, yes, sir. Aaron doesn't say, I'm bigger than you. I know more better than you. Who the hell are you to tell me, little brother? Who told you for me to do this? No questions have been asked. No questions are written in the Torah in which Aaron is asking 1,000,000 questions to his younger brother and saying, who the hell are you to tell me what to do? Don't I know what the F I can do? This is the language that, black people speak in America. Hey bro, what the F are you doing? So this is my point. Aaron simply said, yes sir, I will do exactly what you have said, little brother. And he did not go left and he did not go right. He took this menorah, he put olive oil into it, virgin olive oil, and he lit it every day. And when he lit it every day, Aaron was no longer the same person he was before. Aaron now had a priesthood. He had a mission statement. What was Aaron's mission statement? We are the light to the children of Israel. We are the helpers. We are the light to the children of Israel. We will help our nation to grow and become one of the best nations in the world. Best people in the world. We will become a light to the nations. We will become a light of the world. That's what Aaron's mission statement. Because Moses gave Aaron the light, and Aaron then made his mission statement. And God then told Aaron, you are Israel. You are the light of the world. Collectively. So, who are your helpers, Israel? Your helpers are not, holding placards, Black Lives Matter. They're not your helpers. They're not the people who love you, and they're not the people who are going to help you establish your kingdom and help you establish your big, richest empires. Your helpers are the priesthood. They are your rescuers. They are your helpers. They are your guides. So if God has chosen, this is by God's choice, not my choice. I could have been in England, and I could have been living there and, collecting a check from the government and still, doing my job and have a nice life and don't care about everybody else. I don't care what anybody else does. I care of what my life is, not what anybody else does. And I could have been there, but I chose with God's voice to leave that land. Because God told me to leave the land. Leave everything. Go over to the US. That's where your life is now. So I took my bags, I handed my houses over to my brother and I said, bye-bye, I got to leave. Gave a notice in at my $100,000 job, said bye-bye, I got to leave. They said, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving, Simon? You're a great engineer. You're a great asset to our company. Why do you have to go? You got a gripe with the manager? I said, no, I got no gripe with the manager. I love the manager. I love the director. I love all those people, but I have to go. I've been told to go to the other side. And they said, we wish you all the best. They wished me all the best. I shook hands with everybody. I gave them a hug, shed 2 tears, and I remember, and I left in 2015. I left England and I said, goodbye England, I'm leaving. And England, the country I loved, England, the country I was brought up in, and I love today as well still, I took another nation, America, and I became a lover of America, and I love the nation of America. I love my president. I love this country. I love the people. I have no gripes against America. I have no gripes against the president. I have no gripes against Democrats. I have no gripes against Republicans. I don't give two hoots about politics. I know everything about politics, but I don't give two hoots about it. Why? Because that is not my mission. My mission is not politics. My mission is to help and establish and make better the lives of the children of Israel and anybody else that comes along. That is my mission statement, to change and better the lives of my people. I live with that mission statement every day, and that's all I do. So therefore, coming back to reality check, I'm a Kohen in the gate. That's a reality check. And the day that the person you call God, the day that person spoke to me was about 21 years ago. He didn't say to me, my name is Jesus, by the way. He just told me to follow after him. He told me that he will never leave me. He told me that I am, someone that I didn't know who I was. And I told him that I made a covenant with him. Between me and him there's a covenant. And I said that I will do what you say about the Torah, and you will do what I say. In other words, that I'm not going to go to this foundation and that foundation and beg for money. So he said to me, you will be taken care of. I will always be with you. Baruch Hashem Yahweh, it is 21 years. My table has never been short of food. So Baruch Hashem Yahweh, that those of you who belong to the children of Israel, those of you who know who you are, you will never be short of food if you follow the Torah. I have proved it, and you can prove it too. That once you establish yourself in the Torah, once you start doing what the Torah commands you to do, it's not hard. You will be very successful people. You will be successful in every business you touch. And your statement will be, you know what your statement will be? Everything I touch turns into gold. That's what your written statement should be. And you should be reading it daily. Everything I touch turns into gold. That's one of your affirmations. And your second affirmation should be, if you want to be, I don't think everybody wants to have $1 million. Some people are happy with $200,000. Some are happy with $1 million. And some are happy with 50 million. And some say, I want the whole pie, the $1 billion. So whatever it is that makes you happy, that achieves your mission, you tell yourself that you are that. Let me give you the best affirmation on the planet. I am $1 billion. Or I am $1 million. That's the best affirmation you can write for yourself. Because I have been testing, as you know, I have been testing affirmations back to front and front to back with all different ways. I choose to be, I am, and then even why am I? And I can tell you, I can report to you, and I can tell you that I choose to be does not work fast. I am does not work fast. In other words, if I just said, I am going to be a millionaire, or I have $1 million in my bank, or you might say, I am about to run a business worth $3 million. These statements take a very long time to come true. But if you use the statement, which the Bible, comes out of the Bible by the way, it says, let the weak say, I am strong. It doesn't say, let the weak say, I am the Hulk. Because maybe you want to be the Hulk and have big muscles. But it says, let the weak man say, I am strong. Meaning, you need to establish your boundaries, what you want to be. Again, we come back to the question, who are you? That is the question. So you need to answer that question for yourselves. So what you're going to write? You're not going to write, I have $1 million. It's a great statement. I have $1 million in the bank. It's a great statement. Nothing wrong with the statement, by the way. But let's do it another way. There are two ways to do this, and do it quicker. These are the ways you're going to become quicker. I'll tell you why we're going to become quicker. Because under my testing rules, I had a rule, and I said, this is the test. I need 2 weeks or I need 4 weeks, and I set myself a small goal. Small goal, nothing big, nothing fantastic, but a small goal. It might just be as simple as that, maybe just as simple as that I have a toy car on my table. Maybe just as simple as that. Anybody can go, buy a $1 car from Walmart and put it on their table. So my goal might be as simple as that. Now I frame it. I frame it with 3 different ways. I say, I am going to buy a little toy car and put it on my table. That's one statement. I am going to buy. The second statement, I have a little car on my table already. Okay, the car is not yet here, but I make a statement because this is a test. A test, if I can do it with a $1 car, I can do it with a $100,000 car, I can do it with a $1 million car. So I do it with a $1 car. Simple test. I have a $1 car. I don't say a dollar, I say I have a toy car on my table. I already have it. Yet I don't. Yet I make that statement. Then I go to the second statement. Why have I a little toy car on the table? So I turn it around. Then I say, I choose to have a little toy car on the table. Now I put it to the test. I speak it every day in the air. Every day I speak it in the air. And I'm going to see how quickly I'm going to get that. Which one's going to come through? Which one of those statements is coming through? So what I do, I set colors. I set colors. I say red car. I say black car. I say maybe blue car. Maybe a sports car. Could be anything. I want to separate the statements. I have a little sports car on my table. I choose to have a little sports car on my table. Why do I have a sports car color of red on my table? So now I run that test. Which one of those is going to complete is going to tell me which affirmation works the fastest for me. Because I read a book. It was Dr. Murphy's book. And I listened to the audio of that book as well, about 2 or 3 times. And what I derived from that audio was this from Dr. Murphy. He basically said that there are some people in this world that have a block. And if they say, I am a millionaire, they never get there. So he said, why do they never get there? Why is one person successful who says, I'm a millionaire, and another one not successful? He says, because every time these people say, I'm a millionaire, and I'm kind of paraphrasing the book now, he says, every time that person says, I'm a millionaire, his ego tells him, no, you're not. He says, every time he says, I'm a millionaire, ego says, no, you're not. And it blocks him right there. So how does he get past his ego? Now he didn't explain the things that I'm telling you. I've derived those from experience and from testing. He says, how did you get past that? And he gave one example only. And the example he gave, he said there was a man, he was working in a factory, and he wanted to better his salary. And so what he started to do, he also had the ego issue. So he came to his mirror, he would shave in the morning, and I do the same, I shave in the morning, and he would say, he stands in front of his mirror, and while he's shaving, he will only use the word success in front of the mirror. He will say success, 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 success. He said every time he used the word success while he was shaving, and maybe 5 minutes of using those words, he said he went away, he went to his job, did his day's job and came back home. Then one day, his supervisor called him and he said to him, such and such, sir, we are promoting you. You're going to become the supervisor. You're going to get a salary raise. And he doubled his salary by just using the word success in front of a mirror. Okay? That's one technique to bypass your ego. Because your ego is what will try to stop you from your success. So when he said, if he used the words, I am a millionaire, the ego will say, no, you're not. You got no money in the bank. And then it will just stop there. He can't go past that. But when he used the word success, now the ego didn't know what to answer. Because the ego couldn't say yes, and the ego couldn't say no. Because he was working, he was getting a salary. Technically, he was somewhat successful. He wasn't unemployed. So the ego couldn't do nothing. So the ego allowed that word to go through to his subconscious, his I am. It went to his I am, straight down. Every time he said it, it went to his I am. It is what we call the awareness. It went to the awareness, and by the way, awareness is God. That's the God within us. And when it went to the awareness, it activated his awareness. And boom, it planted the seed. And when it planted the seed, it only took maybe, 2 months maybe of saying that word, or 3 months. And 3 months later, his supervisor calls him and says, hey, you're taking my job, your salary is going to be double now. He doubled his salary. He didn't stop there, by the way. He continued. He continued with that word in the bathroom. He thought, my goodness, this is so good. I'm going to continue with it. So he continued. He doubled his salary again. I don't know how long it took, because, Dr. Murphy doesn't tell us how long it took. But he did, make a great salary in that job. And he was a happy man. Only from one word, success. So he was able to bypass the ego. So what I learned in my testing, if you have a problem with ego, and a lot of people do, by the way, a lot of people have ego issues, and the ego will try to sabotage them, and it will do it every time. It will sabotage what they do. So the way to bypass the ego, instead of saying, I am a millionaire, your ego sabotages you. You say, why am I a millionaire? Your ego now can't sabotage you. Why? Because when you use the word why, ego doesn't know what to say. Because you're asking a question. Why am I a millionaire? Ego doesn't know what to do. And it goes straight to your awareness. It plants as a seed. And guess where that leads you to? You become a millionaire. That's where it leads to. This is a secret I'm giving you today as a gift before I go off to the east. I'm about to travel to the east for your information. So before I go to the east, this I'm leaving with you. Because Rabbi Kefa is in charge, Baruch Hashem Yahweh, and I will be traveling soon. But the ego is what you're trying to defeat. You must defeat your ego. And you can, and you will. Because that is what the movie was about yesterday. That movie I saw was all about the ego of this man. His ego would not allow him to have a good relationship. It would not allow him to have a good relation with the father, with the mother, with the girlfriend. Because his ego will keep coming in and destroy and sabotage his life. And that ego controlled his anger. When he let go of that ego, he was able to control his anger. And you can download that movie if you want to watch it. You can download it. It's got English subtitles. And I can give you the name if you're interested. I can find out the name. It's a South Indian movie with English subtitles against it. I encourage you to watch it. You might learn something from it. So my point is that we have to deal with the ego. Egotistical mind. It's called the egotistical mind in the book of psychologies. We must deal with the egotistical mind, because it is the egotistical mind that destroys your life and it prevents you from success. All these so-called rich people out there, Oprah Winfrey, this man Robert Smith, and everybody else, including our President Trump, who is a billionaire businessman, and Bill Gates, and Joe Soros, and every other person out there, the Rockefellers, they did exactly that. They defeated their ego. Now what they do with the billions is their business. It's not my business to tell somebody what you do with your $1 billion or billions of dollars. But what you do with your ego, I'm teaching you how to deal with your ego, which is what prevents you from becoming successful. Daniel, you're asking the question. Daniel is asking the question for the room. So which is better in our affirmations, the why, I am, or I choose to bring about our affirmations quicker, just to get clarification today? Yes, my testing, Daniel, is proven, and I have some other students who are still testing with me, and in my personal testing, I proved that the why, pre to any affirmation, to the I am or the am I, instead of saying, I am a millionaire, and if you said, why am I a millionaire, that works quicker and faster. Things will start turning very fast. Now, before I forget, I'm going to pause over here, and I want to take you to another direction, healing. There is a website that I found the other day. It's called Conscious Medicine, Energy Medicine, Quantum Healing. quantum healing. I must point you to a website that has quantum healing programs on it. You have to purchase 50 points per $1. And I did, by the way. I purchased the points. I also got 400 points free. I spoke to the doctor in India who has devised that program. His name Dr. Sunny. I had a lengthy conversation both in email and on telephone as well. And the doctor told me many things, and he told me that he's working on different programs. But here is what I like about his system. And let me find his little link. Then I want to talk a little bit about that, because I believe that will revolutionize and change your lives. My goodness. You're not going to be the same people that you are. You're going to love this program. And the website is qsserver.com. I'll post a link here for those of you who are listening, maybe not live or maybe live. The website is called Q for Queen, S for Sierra, and S for Sierra again, E, Echo, Robert, V for Victor, E for Echo, R for Robert. So we got two S's in there. So it's qsserver.com. If you go to that website, they will find conscious healing, quantum medicine, energy medicine. It has every program you can think of. And let me tell you something of interest. I have a person in Pakistan who is ill. Several people actually. So I wanted to test it out on them. It works on a picture. So what the good doctor told me, he said, Simon, upload their picture. Any picture, any clear picture, their face, their body standing up, upright, just simple clothes. He said, don't wear fancy clothes, don't have multicolored clothes. Just tell them to wear simple clothes, black or white or yellow. And he said, but don't use, he told me not to use red color. Tell them not to wear red clothes. And I understand why. So he then told me that tell them to wear simple clothes, and might be a half picture like passport size, or might be a full picture. You upload it. Then you apply the program to that person. The program can take between 5 minutes and 40 minutes. Different programs, different values. So what I did, I put the picture of one of my relatives in Pakistan, miles away from me, 7,000 miles away, and I said, I'm going to apply this program. Because one of my relations had told me that this woman, that is my family, that she was in severe pain. She had a lot of pain, and shoulder pains, body pains, and so on and so forth. So I said, okay, I'm going to apply something. It's going to take about 10 minutes to run. And at the time she was sleeping. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning their time. So I sent the program. And what the program did, I actually sent a program. It was 2 different programs. One was to cure all women problems. It was under the heading of all female problems. So I went on all female problems, and I said, I'm going to select this. It's 300 points. 300 points is about $6. So I'm sending it to her. I want to see what effect it generates. Because I know she had problems with the, down there in the women's, in her ovaries and uterus and all that. She had, she get those things that women get. You start getting, there's a special term for it. It's like lumps, it's like growths. So there's a special term, medical term for that they use. And it's not cyst, because cyst is a different thing. It's inside your uterus, or it could be fibroids. Thank you for that line, Princess. So they get fibroids, and they can also get cysts outside like for instance her stomach lining and the stomach side. When they did her X-ray, and they said, hey, you have some water cysts in your stomach side, and they got nothing to do with the ovary, they're to do with the stomach. Anyhow, they did the operation, they cut them out, they took out the fibroids, and a year later, she has it again. Twice she has gone to the hospital, twice she's had an operation, and the 3 year running, now she has it again. Now they're saying to her, you got to go to a better hospital and do another operation. More money. Every year more money. So what I did, I sent this program called All Women's Problems. It's part of this little program where you have the ovaries issue, cyst issue, other issue, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, all of that. So I took the all women problems and I said, boom, go, 10 minutes. 10 minutes of wave therapy, quantum therapy. And I sent it, she's asleep, she don't even know I did it. I took a picture I cut it up. I only took her, she had a picture with her husband. I broke it in half. I cut the picture in one of my paint packages, and I uploaded the picture and I gave the name. I made an arbitrary address. It doesn't even need to be the real email address. I just gave her daughter's email address over there, and I put her daughter's telephone. I said, she don't even need a telephone. Because the whole therapy works on the picture, not on the phone, not on the location. It was picture that the technology is going to drive into the picture. So I said, if it's going to drive into the picture, I said, what's the phone for? So I phoned the doctor. I said, Dr. Sunny, what is the phone number for? Do we need a phone to pass the technology through the phone over there? He says, no, Simon. He said, the phone is simply a placeholder. We need is a clear picture. And the phone is simply like a location thing, are they living in Pakistan, or they're living in Afghanistan, or they're living in India, or wherever. So he said, that's basically the phone. He said, but the picture is what our technology works. He said, quantum healing works on the picture and on the person's name. I said, okay, that's great. I will try it, and I'll see what it does. So I sent 2 treatments to her. I sent a all women's problems, and I sent a color therapy. A color therapy also does some healing in your body. So when I sent those 2 things, they were like done in about 15 minutes. And then the next morning, I phoned her daughter and I said, report back, how's your mother from yesterday? Because I sent something last night. It's a little bit of a mouthful, quantum healing. And did she get any benefit? And she said, yes, my mother woke up this morning and she told me, she said, I had pain last night in my shoulders, in my body, all over my body, and my heels were really hurting. And this morning I wake up, the heel pain is gone. My goodness, magic. What happened? My heel pain is no longer there. And she goes, my body pains disappeared. The only pain I have is only a small pain in my shoulders now. All the pains decreased. Body pains disappeared. I have shoulder pain. I have some shoulder pains left. Not big shoulder pains, but small shoulder pains. I said, okay, I will send it again today. Because it doesn't always work that fast. The doctor says you have to do it about 8 times a month. I only did it 1 time. So I said, okay, I'm going to send it 2nd time. So I sent it the 2nd time that 2nd day. Boom, again the same program. I reran it. Uploaded some points for $20, and I said, run the program again. And I ran the program again. I phoned the next day. Okay, what's the report? She said, total pains gone. No shoulder pains, no, heel pains, nothing. I said, okay, fine. We'll stop there and we'll see what happens next. And then the next day she came and she said, my mom is having a pain in her stomach, like to do with, I said, what did she eat? And she said, well, she just had bread and she just had some chicken. And I said, is it that something she ate? Is it acidity? Is it something else? No, Jacob, you may be, because I'm able to access it. Maybe I've got a static page. Hold on, let me just see. Let me go back to the home. Q server. Okay. I know why, because you might be using the wrong link. Let me go to the programs. No, the site is up, by the way. And if I click on the site, I'm there. I can go into the different addiction control. I can go into there. Acupuncture and TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. Balance the 12 meridians, 5-element balance to balance opposite meridian. It's all working. It's all there. Here's another link. Try this one. After qsserver.com, put client, program category. Click on my link, you should be there. Or just type in quantum healing and it'll probably give you a link. So what I did the next day, here's an interesting story. You're going to love this one. You're going to love this one because I'm not going to give you the full details, but I'll tell you the gist of it. I know 2 people that have coronavirus right now, and they're in Afghanistan, by the way. So figure that one out. And the second person, I know one person by face. I have their picture as well. Second person, I've never met them. I've never seen them. I only know their name. And I don't know what they look like. So I had a little bit of a dilemma. How do I send the program to somebody who has coronavirus? And I don't have their picture. So this is what I did. I did something really clever. I thought it was really clever. I took a picture of a woman, because this is a woman, by the way. I don't know her. I took a picture of the woman, and she was completely clad in a black burqa, completely covered. Only thing you can see in the picture is her eyesight, or eyes. So what I did, I just took an image from the internet. I just picked up an image from Afghan women, and I just took a picture and I said, with burqas on, with all the covering. So I took the covering picture, I cut it out, I put it into my paint shop package, and what I did, I wrote her name on it, on the picture, and I uploaded that into the program. I said, okay, the person's name is this is her picture, go do your job. Boom. 39 minutes of coronavirus program. And the coronavirus program on that website, it says it is right now experimental. It doesn't say it cures corona. It says it's experimental, try it on a corona patient. So I put it through. And then after I put it through on these two ladies, and I had no result, I didn't know at what level they were, so I asked the question, about an hour later, I sent an email and I said, how is such and such person doing? Because I know that they were really bad. They had throat pains, they had body pains, and they were not moving much either. There was no movement. They were really, really down. So I sent a muscle pain program. I sent a immunity build program, build your immunity in the brain. So I sent one of those programs to both of those girls. And then what happened, after that, after about, hour or 2 hours, I asked a question. I said, do you see any movement? Is a patient making any movement? Are they feeling better? Are they feeling worse? Any movement? So then I was told that yes, there is movement. They are moving about. Looks like something is happening. Looks like it's working. They were not moving before. They were dead like a duck, but now they are moving about like a spring chicken. So I said, okay, that's very interesting. I'm very impressed by what I just did. So I said, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So I said, okay, I will leave it to it for this, and I'll get more report tomorrow from you at where we are, because give it some more time to work. So that's the kind of effects that you can get with this program. Now, by the way, I don't get no commissions out of this. It's not something that I get, every time you buy $1, I get 10 cents. No, I got no stake in it. No stake whatsoever. I'm only giving it to you because it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's out of this world. You could direct it to a problem. Like, I could say, balance the 12 meridians. That's a Chinese term. And Rabbi Kefa, if you ask your wife, what is balance the 12 meridians? She will tell you what that is, because she'll understand the Chinese therapies. And so, balance the 12 meridian is when you have these channels in your body that connect to your vital organs. If they're out of balance, out of whack, you start getting problems. You might start getting pains, you might start getting blood pressure, you might start getting diabetes or whatever. So what you do, you direct it at balancing those meridians. So what the program does, it sends energy to balancing the meridians. Once the meridians are balanced, your problem starts to go away. It starts to decrease and disappear. So our whole body needs to be looked at holistically. And when you look at it holistically, it will work. And if you look at it individually, usually you'll make mistakes. But so what I did, so I took the balance of meridian and I advised it to somebody, and they tried it and they felt really good. They said, I feel really good after using it. I said, great. And then, they tried, the female problems, and they said, I feel really great. I'm getting this little tingling down there, like electricity. And I said, great. I said, is it helping you? Or do you think it's helping you? They said, yeah, I think it's helping me. So I would encourage you to try that program. It's not mine. I didn't make it up. This doctor in India has been working on this for about 4 years now. And he told me there is a device, and they can sell the device in the US. And he said it'll cost about $335. And that device you can put in your home, and then you can have it local to your house, to yourself. In other words, whoever's in the house, you can run the program within the house all the time, and it affects your property in 1,000, basically 1,000 meters around it. The whole thing. You can even put this program on a land and balance the land out. You might have 40 acres or something and a mule, and you put it on your 40 acres and you say, boom, geographic region. Put this wave on there, put this energy on there, and it will balance your land, remove negativities. and all sorts of things. It's fantastic. I rate it very high, because so far my experience with this program is that it works fantastic. I've sent this program to Pakistan to patients, I've sent this program to India to patients, and I've seen great results. So now you got to try it, and you can tell me, what programs you use and how it helps you. I believe that this program can work miracles for you, because it is miraculous. You just sit in your home and send a little 10-minute program, and boom, right? It starts affecting your health, your life, your consciousness, everything. So it's a great program. So have a look at it, because you may have family members like I do who are suffering from illnesses, and you can't be there. Maybe you're thousands of miles away like I am. And you can't be there giving them a, paracetamol or giving them a, ibuprofen. You might do the next best thing. You might be able to effect a cure thousands of miles away, for a mother, for a father, for a brother, for a sister, whoever. It's absolutely miraculous. I think it's wonderful. It has several categories, and the categories that it has, like it tells you that if you take vitamins, it will enhance your vitamins. It has anti-age and cosmetics, allergies, autism, agricultural balancing, affirmations positive. Now in the affirmations positive, it tells you what it can do. It says prosperity and abundance program, success, God-given purpose or intention for united relationship, switch word for healing, protection on legal matters, for intuition power of healer, forgive and gratitude session, general happiness affirmations, for money, success and achievement. These are all programs, by the way, under affirmations. So I will tell you this, I haven't tried those. They will give you 400 points free. So you can just go up and sign up and get 400 points, and boom, 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 you have access to several programs immediately. You could probably run about 3 or 4 programs within that 400 points. Some programs are only 30 points. Some are 50, some are 100, some are 2, some are 300, some are even 1,000. So you may not need to run the 1,000-point program, but you might be able to just run maybe a 100-point or a 200-point and help yourself. Now I do advise this, that they recommend on their programs twice a day for whole month, twice a day, 8 times or 10 times a month. I say no, don't do it this many times. What I have found is if you use the program, use it twice a week only, not twice a day, twice a week, and then run it for 8 times a month. So if a program is 100 points and you run it twice, that's 200 points. And you run it 8 times, that's 800 points. So in dollar terms, it's basically $16 if you buy those points. $16 worth of points, but it can change your whole life. Because if you had a pain issue, pain management, this will help you. If you sent yourself that program twice a week for 4 weeks, that's 8 times, you're going to feel the world of difference. So I will leave you with that program. Now I'm going to come back to states. Now my next subject, states. States is what you're in, and states what you come in and come out of. Now what is state? I may have to go through another lecture on this, because this subject of states is very, very wide. It's very big. It's not easy to explain in layman terms. But I can tell you what is a state. I am in Ohio right now. So what is my state? I came from Florida. So my state is, I'm in Ohio. My state right now is in Ohio. Now if I want to go back to Pensacola, Florida, I'll have to maybe, drive back and go back to Pensacola, and then I'll say, I'm now in the state of Florida and in Pensacola City, and I'm in the state of Ohio now. So that's states. Now, in the simplest terms, think of it as a US, all different states, and you're in one of those states. Rabbi Kefa is in Texas, some of you might be in Florida, others you are in Michigan, etc., etc. And like Oliver, he is in France, maybe he's in Paris. So he's in the country of France, city of Paris. Okay, he's in a state. He's in the French Republican state, technically. You're in a U.S. state. Now, how does it apply to your affirmations, or to your, trying to achieve something in your life, or trying to get into your awareness? Remember, awareness is God. And awareness is within every person on this planet. Every human being has awareness. They don't know how to use it. So they're walking around like zombies for the rest of their life, and always complaining and whining, oh this and oh that, oh my supervisor said this and my wife said that, and blah blah blah, and on and on and on it goes. So whatever state you're in, you can worsen that state, or you can better that state. Now, you're going to say to me, what do you mean by worsen the state or better the state? That's exactly what Moses did for Aaron. Now, let me come back to Moses and Aaron and reread the passage so you get a little bit more understanding. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and say to him, when you light the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the menorah. And Aaron did so. He lighted the lamps there over against the candlestick as Yahweh commanded Moses or Moshe. Just stop there and think about it, what happened. Aaron was in one state of mind. Moses was in another state of mind. Moses knew what Aaron needed to multiply his abundance. Let's put it in simpler terms. And the abundance of Israel. So Moses said to Aaron, elder brother, please listen. This is what God has commanded me. And Aaron could have turned around and be arrogant and say, who the hell are you? If God can speak to you, he can speak to me as well. Get out of here. He didn't say that. He's a humble man. He listens to his brother. He says, what did God say? He says, God told me, you pick up this little, candlestick. It's got 7 branches. It has a meaning behind it, the number 7. And he says it has three, a stand of 3 underneath. Total thing is 10. And he said there's a meaning, but let's not worry about the meaning. Let's just pick up some virgin olive oil and you put it in there and you light it. He says your life will change. And Israel's life will change after that. You will become a light to Israel, and Israel will become a light to the nation. So what are you doing? The light represents Torah. The light also represents abundance. So what Aaron was taught was how to be abundant and how to make the people of Israel abundant. Because he said, you must light it for the people of Israel. Now you got to be the light, meaning you must teach Torah. And you must receive Torah. In order to teach Torah, you must receive it. If you do not receive it, you cannot teach it, you cannot do it. Kabbalah Torah. Kabbalah Torah means to receive Torah. Many of you don't even know how to receive Torah. If you don't receive Torah, you'll never be able to practice it. Because Torah is a way of living. It's not about rituals. Oh, I've got to stand in front of Jerusalem and bow down 5 times. It's not about standing in front of Jerusalem and bowing down 5 times and kissing the wall, and shockingly maybe beside the wall because that's the best thing in the world since, invention of bread. No, it's not that. It's not about standing in front of the Western Wall and pushing a piece of paper in there. And by the way, I've done that too. I went to the Western Wall, pushed a piece of paper in there for somebody. They said to me, please take this piece of paper for me and push it in the wall. I said, I'll do so. I took it and I did it. I pushed it in there. But what happened in their life? Nothing changed. Their life was the same. The same, zombie they were before, the same zombie they were afterwards. But I changed because I knew it wasn't about the wall. It wasn't about where you stand. Because God is within you. Isn't that what Jesus went around telling everybody? And they criticized Jesus and said, who the hell are you to tell us where God is? Are you calling yourself God? Where's my whip? I'm going to whip you. You're blaspheming now. So he had to deal with that. So where is God? What is prayer? Everything in the Bible refers to techniques that we use to better our lives. It's not about how best you keep the Sabbath. People come to me and say to me, Rabbi, I keep the Sabbath religiously. Every week, Friday night, I pick up my my little 2 candles and I light them and I say, I say the Shabbat prayer. I said, great. Baruch Hashem. Great. No problem. But has your life changed? Who are you? I asked him the question, who are you? He said, what do you mean, Rabbi, who am I? I am Jackson Smith. And I said, no, I'm not asking your name. I'm not saying what your name is. Oh, I am a plumber. I'm not asking you what you do. Who are you? And they get all confused and all wound up and, but Rabbi, I do the Sabbath religiously. But Rabbi, I burn my 2 candles and, I stand in front and I read from the Siddur. I'm Israel. That's who I am. I said, okay. Then has becoming Israel changed your life? Yeah, but Rabbi, what am I doing wrong? You see, that's where everything then falls in place. So now we start to find direction. Now we're starting to find purpose. Now we're starting to find what does that mean to be part of Israel and be Israel. Because if you're Israel, what does Israel mean? The word, what does it mean in the Hebrew? That you're ruling over the kingdoms as God. Right? What does Israel mean? Yisrael in the Hebrew language, there are certain characters of the Hebrew language part of that word. And if you go to the ancient Hebrew, the most ancient Hebrew, which was pictographic Hebrew, like the Chinese symbols, it had symbols, they had meanings behind it. And the Abrahamic-Faith Bible talks about those meanings. So you are going to be a ruler of some type, right? Ruler over men. That's what Israel is supposed to mean. And it's not. It doesn't. A lot of rabbis will tell you, Israel means upright man. No, it doesn't mean upright man. That's one of the meanings. What's the actual meaning behind Israel, the word in the Hebrew language, before you change it into Royal Hebrew and from Royal to modern Hebrew? They're clueless. They haven't even seen the pictograph of the Hebrew. Because when you change the picture into a symbol, into some syllable, you lost the meaning of the word Israel already. So you have to go back to the actual pictures. Like if you went to a Chinese and you said, what does this little picture with this wiggly, square box and this wiggle on top, what does that mean? And the Chinese people will tell you that maybe that word means heaven. Maybe it means something else. So they learned the meaning of pictures. A Chinese child has to learn 10,000 pictures. Once they learn 10,000 pictures, then they can speak their language fluently. And Rabbi Kefa can confirm that with his wife. If you have 10,000 vocabulary of pictures, you can speak the Chinese language fluently. You can write it as well. But if you can't memorize 10,000 Chinese pictures, you're not going to be able to speak the Chinese language properly or write it. So in order to do both, you must memorize 10,000 pictures. That's a lot of pictures, by the way. But the same pictures rotate. Because all it is one picture, then you maybe put a little dot across it, or a little dash underneath it, or you draw a little diagonal line across it. That's all it is, it's pictures. So the Torah, at base level, the ancient Hebrew was pictographed, and I was probably the first person on this planet who said that it's not a Royal Hebrew. It's actually pictures, and a lot of people were fighting about what type of pictures. You had many websites that are trying to piece together what the Torah pictures are. Some of them show you the Aleph is a bull, and some of them show you something else. But it is not a bull in the most ancient language. But that's just maybe prototype Hebrew, later development. I actually pieced together Hebrew. I pieced together Hebrew pictures from ancient Egyptian language, because we spent a lot of time in Egypt. So we had similarities in the two languages. And those pictures are very powerful of the Hebrew language, by the way. If all you did, let me tell you a little secret, if all you did, you draw the pictures and you put them up on your door, and you just looked at the picture every morning, that will give you energy. Remember, I'm talking about quantum energy. That picture alone will give you energy into your system. That's how powerful the pictures are. So, coming back to pictures and coming back to Aaron, picture of the word Israel, the word Israel itself. Remember, I gave you a little dictionary. I gave you a little alphabet dictionary at the back of the Abrahamic-Faith Bible, and I put down the ancient pictures. And you can piece those together and you can form the word Israel. Right? It is in the Bible, yes, in the HTHS Bible or the Abrahamic-Faith, but they both have it. So if you piece together those little pictures and you draw the word Israel, you join together the Yod, the next word, the Shin, and the Resh, you join them together and you get a little picture, five little pictures. And you now take those, you print those, and you put it up on your door, or you put it in your wallet, or wherever you like to. It will give you power, energy. That's one of the secrets of the Bible, by the way. So you won't hear that from any scholar of the Bible or any so-called rabbi out there. I'm the only person who's going to teach you this, because I'm the Kohen in the gate. They are not the Kohen in the gate. They will never be able to teach you this. So coming back to the point is that Aaron was given a method. Light the menorah every day. Lighting the menorah every day is akin to look at the Torah every day. Look at the light. And that's what powers you. It's like saying, another way to look at it is we have the modern electric car. We know some kind of battery in there. And what happens, the battery, maybe the water generates power. As your car is driving, the water generates the power in the battery. And your car can drive 100 miles or 400 miles. And then what happens, when the battery is about to run low, you have a second battery. So, the mechanics of the modern electric car is that you have to stop and charge. If both batteries are about to run to zero, you have to stop and charge them. So consider, this is very important analogy. You are part of Bnai Israel, children of Israel. You joined onto the children of Israel. Nobody forced you. If you came from outside, you joined us. We accepted you happily as part of our family. You're now part of the family of Israel. Now, exactly, Yaqub, hieroglyphics. So, John Lamb was a good guy. He found some really great hieroglyphics from the Egypt side as well. I've written about him in the book. So, you take the hieroglyphics. You take the picture format of the word Israel in hieroglyphics. You put it up in your door, or you put it up in your wallet, and you just look at it every day. Just look at it. Just glance over it. Nothing else. You don't need to chant anything. You don't need to say, you don't need to say abracadabra. None of that. Just look at it. Just eyeball them. Put them away. Then report to me how that changes your life. Because it will change your life. You will derive power from it. Energy. Those words are charged. That's why the Bible uses them so many times. The word Yud-He-Wah-He is a charged word. Is charged atmospherically. What we are used to is we are used to seeing the words in the modern Hebrew. But if you take it back in the ancient language, the energy changes. And the results also change. So I will leave you with that, to experiment with it and try it and see how it goes for you and report back. The best thing to do is for blessings and abundance. Carry those words in your wallet. If you're a woman, put them in your purse. If you're a man, put them in your wallet. Rabbi Zakaria is saying, Hakohen, have you ever heard of Grozuma ulmofolia? I was told by a man from India that this tree will cure most virus, including HIV. I haven't heard of the name Grozuma ulmofolia, but it may have a Greek name. Like there may be a Greek version of it or a pharmaceutical name for it, and I will probably know this name from the Greek name and the pharmaceutical name. And I will be able to say, yeah, I don't know by this name, but I probably know it by another name. So, yes, I'll probably say yes, I will know it. And again, the reason why I don't say that it can cure HIV, because I personally don't have a case where I treated HIV. Because if I don't have a case, then I can't say that I cured HIV with it. But maybe they have cases that they treated, and then yes, based on their testimony, then it may be true that it can treat such a disease. Okay, with that, Rabbi Kefa, Tudah, and take over please. It's your session. Tudah for listening, and have a blessed week and a great Shabbat and a wonderful day and a wonderful week with your families. Tudah, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.
Did you not give us a seven course meal there? That's a lot of information that was put out to us, right, Mr. Hawk? A lot of great information. Our coin is exactly right. You're going to probably have to go back over and listen to this a couple of times and take heed to the instruction. Before I go any further, I just want to read from our Parsha, because I think it's important that we let me get there, because I read this and it just really brought home the point of what you just witnessed in the lecture of the Kohen in the gate is the exact thing that is talked about in our Torah. Where it talks about Levi, and more importantly, the sons of Aaron. I think it's very, very vital that we do understand is that Levi is for Israel. Now, if you're not for the Levi, then you may want to consider yourself not Israel. If you're not, if you don't support, the Kohen and the gate, the sons of Aaron, then maybe you're not Israel. I want to flip that real quick, because there's no use in wasting a lot. I'm not a fan of. I do not like to waste energy. I am energy, and I do not like to. I do not like to waste it. I just do not like to just, use energy for, things that are useless and pointless. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of wasting energy. So this is why it's important that we redirect the question this way. It's like, there's no need to run around here trying to prove or disprove anything. Because at the end of the day, like you heard from my Queen's lecture, and I'm kind of going to piggyback off of that, is what I've seen these past 6 days of labor is just a lot of what I've noted as a student of human nature is that a lot of folks, human beings, concern themselves with things that they do not know. I'm going to say that again. A lot of folks, human beings, concern themselves with things that they do not know. You guys know what I'm talking about? And if we flip that, individuals would do themselves a great service and save a lot of energy and not dispel a lot of just precious energy on things that they know. You know what I mean? Think about this for a minute. And this question came to mind, Simha, as you responded, and you Eddies and Daniel. Who cares what you do not know? Who cares? I'm asking this question. Who cares what you do not know? Who cares? And I'm going to answer that question. You do. The majority of folks, as we talk about energy, they care about what they do not know, opposed to what they know. Think about this is revelation when you think about it, but it's so simple, yet it can be complex at the same time. In my meditation, I've been thinking about these past 6 days of labor. It's like a lot of folks waste a lot of energy, time, emotion, feeling, thought on what they do not know. What they don't know. Isn't that something? But they spend little time, periods, or energy on what they do know. When you need to really flip that and spend the majority of your periods on the face of this earth concerning yourself with the things that you do know. And God bless and God to call me in the day. Because He has helped me understand things that I know. That I know. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Things. If I ask you this question right now, what do you know? Can you respond to that? If I say, yeah, Chenya, what do you know? Think about that for a minute. I mean, what do you know? Opposed to, and I don't mean to single you out, Chenya, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But opposed to how many folks, including family members in this room, will just expend a lot of energy on things that they do not know. And I see this in religion. I see this in people. Is that a majority of, and before I get that, I wrote this down, which I think is very important. I had to write this down. Is that, I wrote this down, Rabbi Benia. Don't let this life be a mystery to you, but let life be magical. Most folks run through this life in a mysterious fashion. You know what I mean? To where everything is mysterious and they're always looking for the next mystery instead of, like I got this thing for my quoting this morning, instead of, solving the mystery like being Sherlock Holmes, they jump from one mystery to another mystery to another mystery, and their whole life can be summed up as a mystery. That's it. Mystery after mystery after mystery after mystery. But there's no magic to their life. They cannot remember, they cannot recall one thing that happened magical in their life. And y'all forbid there's any of you in this room. Because if it is, then now you have an opportunity to change that conditioning of how you've been. Like Queen talked about that instruction, or that was given by the teacher that he gave the example of. That conditioning of just like, okay, you've been spoon-fed this for so long, and so you believe it to be true, when it's totally not true. It's just been spoon-fed to you for so long, to where you think, and that it becomes what you are. When that's not true, or that's not known, or you just don't know. You see, the majority of the time, most folks on the face of this earth will spend their life in mystery instead of magic. And searching and seeking after the mystery instead of living a life of magic. Of true magic, of whatever you want you can have. To me, that's magic. When you can get whatever you want, that's magic to me. Whatever you desire, that's magic. Whatever makes you happy, that's a magical life. Whenever you can obtain those things, that's magic to me. Instead of second guessing and questioning your whole life, that's mystery. Oh, am I going to ever be anything? Well, Mama said I'm not going to be you know what I mean? That's living a life of mystery. I don't want to do that. And in my meditations this week, that's been a big thing. It kept coming back to my imagination and my mind. Is that live a life of magic, not a life of mystery. To where you spend the majority of your periods of this life worrying about mysterious things that in all actuality never come into fruition. But yet you feel mystery about them. You see, they're in your mind as a mystery. You know what I'm talking about? And you feel mystery about things that never materialize. And then yet at the same time, as you grow through this period of life, you never get anything accomplished. You see? Who cares what you do not know? Well, you care. A lot of people care about what they don't know. Their whole focus is on what they do not know, opposed to what they do know. If they would put all of the energy on what they do know, and this brings me to the point, and this is why we must read from our books, because this is very important. Stay in the know. Because the Torah is known. How many of you know? The Torah is known. It's well-renowned. It's known. So this is why when you put your focus on the Torah, you put your focus on things that, like, okay, this is what I know. Again, if I ask you the question, what do you know? What do you know? And if you be honest with yourself in your assessment, there's probably more things that you do not know that you can write down than things that you know. And we can chalk that up as conditioning. It's because that has been, embedded in us from early age to think that way. To look at our deficiencies opposed to our success. And our success is, right? To look at our deficiencies. Well, where am I deficient? And the majority of the time, individuals are more, a lot of folks want to point the finger and say, oh, you're hypocritical of me and you're very critical of me. But the majority of the time, the individual is more critical of himself than anybody can do on the outside. And we get very critical of ourselves and we judge ourselves very harshly. Self, you do it to self. And being critical of is not healthy. Because that's one of the byproducts of pessimism. How many of you in this room are pessimistic? I'm not. This is not my nature. I'm not pessimistic. You see? Sima says, I know to overcome my ego, my battle is my Armageddon. Oh my goodness. See that battle of mustard seed and just pluck it out your way. Because that's how it can happen. It don't have to be Armageddon. And it definitely don't have to be a mountain. But it first needs to be acknowledged in Torah-Prosperity. For being able to acknowledge, right? First you have to realize that there's a problem. You have to come back down to reality and realize, okay, this is what stared me in the face. Now, let's deal with it. Let's not just keep passing it on as a mystery. Let's come up with the solution. And believe you me, did not the Kohen give you many solutions today? He gave us many solutions. Give us many solutions that we can use to counter the negative energies or negative forces. How many of you know that there are negative forces out there? How many of you know that there are negative forces not only out there, in you, that want to creep up sometimes? Negative forces, negativities. You got to understand this as energy. You got to be able to understand this, and more importantly than understanding it, you got to be able to recognize it for what it is, so you can call it out by its name. Just like our books say, those that are called by my name, you got to be able to call this out by its name. There's no mystery here. You have to be able to call it out by its name so you can deal with it with the magic that's provided to you by the Kohen. That's been provided to me by the Kohen in the gate. The importance of the Kohen in the gate is so misunderstood that it's crazy. I'm telling you. If we really understood what we had, and we can't put it in a bottle, but if we really understood what we have, Mishpachah, and Hakohen is right, and I'm a witness and a watcher to this very fact, is that there's people that would, that are up and down all around the world trying to get a hold of Hakohen because they understand his relevance throughout the whole of the continent of Africa and the East, that would just love to get a hold of Hakohen in some kind of way, shape, form, fashion, just to spend a period with him. Because they understand his importance. While others, have the grass and it's green, but yet they feel like it's greener on the other side. And you see this in our Parsha as well, as the complainers came in our history, after seeing the smackdown that was placed on Egypt, you see, after witnessing all the miracle after miracle after miracle, yet, you're taken out and you saw the magic, and yet you still want to complain, and you still just want to put down and total disrespect the God of Israel and say you had it better in Egypt. In Egypt, we had cucumbers, and we had fish, and you start to reminisce on the mystery. And you forget all about the magic. And 2020 is still happening today. You have the Kohen in the gate. We had the magic. We have the magic. It's not in a bottle. We can put the magic in a bottle. You can't do that. You couldn't hold all the magic. And it brings me back to our Parsha and what we're told, what we know. What do we know? See, what we know, and a lot of times what we don't know can kind of be subjective, because it can be just based on ignorance, or it can be just, sometimes what you don't know is based upon you blocking what you can know. But you just block it because it's better to be in a state of I don't know. If I can say that. Because in studying human nature, I see that. It's people seem to be happy in the state of being of unknown. Of unknowing. Instead of okay, what do you know? Well, we know we have the 66 canonized books by the Catholics. That is the history of the Hebrews. Our history. But more importantly, as this Parsha begins to expound a little bit and begin to open and really tell us what we need to know about the Levim and about the sons of Aaron. And you look at chapter 8 of Numbers, and it begins to explain things to us about what we need to know. How many of you in this room want to be in the know? I want to be in the know. I want to know. And the Kohen in the gate kept me in the know. Because, I tell you, majority of my life, I didn't know. To stop for your responses. But I want to be in the know. And I tell you, one of the biggest things that put me in the know was that Abrahamic-Faith Bible, or the Hidden Truth Break Scrolls. For any of you listening to YouTube, you want to be in the know, get that Bible. It's going to help. It's going to put you in the know. Because at the foundation, it let me know who I was. Besides the YouTube videos that I saw by the Kohen, Rabbi Simon Altaf, to really help me, like I talked about, how the brothers talk today, the black people in America. The Hidden Truth Break Scrolls let me know what was up. Like, what's up? Like, who am I? Being in the know is powerful. How many of you understand that? There's nobody on the face of this earth that cannot tell me I'm not Israel. Why? Because I know. Yeah, folks have come up to me and said, "Oh, you're not Israel. You don't meet the criteria. Israel's white." These are people that's not in the know. Right? So-called Bible-believing people. In the book of Bereshit, it talks in the beginnings there was darkness. Didn't say in the beginnings there was what? in the beginnings there was light. No, in the beginnings there was darkness over the face of the earth. Take that how you want to read into it. Remember, I told you, the Torah has 70 different faces to it. What face do you see? Some people shun all the faces of the Torah, yet they say they're in Torah. But they shun all the faces that Torah wants to reveal to you. And this is why they never receive any revelation. You see, this is not about a color thing, but it's just about what do you know. Unless we got to lay down the facts so that, law and order can be established. You have to lay down the facts. So what do we know in our Bible-believing Bible that most people Bible-believing Bible believers believe in? So they say. But when it comes to knowing what this Bible wants to tell us, they kind of skip over some things and jump. They take, they extract, they add to, they take away, and blah, 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 blah. So we see the dedication or the anointing of the children of Israel over the brethren, over the tribe, the clan, and even Aaron and his sons. This is a momentous occasion of what our Bible, what our history wants us to know. You see, a lot of folks understand that Israel has a priesthood. Some people try to change them. Some people try to add a priesthood to them. We're talking about and taken away. Most folks, because they're in the know with the Bible, you know what they'll do? They'll play this role. Amnesia. They'll just kind of forget about the priesthood section. Let's just kind of breeze over that. Let's skip over that part. They'll selectively just kind of want to forget. Oh, okay. Well, or explain it away in some kind of way of not being, not in the know. Oh, that priesthood was only for that time and whatever. However they want to explain it away. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You know how it goes. However they want to come at you in an unknown way. But you that are in the know, you should know exactly in the white what the Bible is telling us here. When we look at Numbers chapter 8, it tells us. What should we know about the Levim? What should we know about the sons of Aaron? You see? What should we know? This is a very momentous time. Look at Numbers chapter 8, starting at verse 10. Again, I read from the Abrahamic-Faith Bible. Hidden truth we break scrolls. And you shall bring the Levim before Yahweh, and the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levim. Bukashir. Now, the Levim, sons of Aaron, these are two different classes now. But they're under the umbrella of the Levim. That's the tribe. Just like some of you are Judah, some of you may be Benjamin, some of you may be, Shimon, tribal affiliation. No, has nothing to do with color here. And if you know, throughout all of our Torah, classification was not based on anybody's color, was it? It has always been based upon what? Tribal affiliation. Who's your tribe? Who is your father? See where we're going there? 2020 protesters, blah, 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 blah. So the children of Israel put their hands upon the Levim. Look at verse 11 of chapter 8. And Aaron shall offer the Levim before Yahweh as an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of Yahweh. Look at verse 12. And the Levim shall lay their hands on the heads of the bullock, and they shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering to Yahweh, and make an atonement for the Levim. Here's how it's going down. This is what we know now. This is our history. This is what we know. Verse 13. And you shall set the Levim before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them as an offering to Yahweh. You see? Here comes that subset. You see, you have Aaron and his sons, and then you have them. It's a subset. All right? Two different classes here. In the same family, but there's two different classes that have distinct roles that we're going to learn about. So we got to be in the know. Look at verse 14. Thus shall you separate the Levim from among the children of Israel, and the Levim shall be mine. Look at this in verse 15. And after that shall the Levim go in to do the service of the tent of appointed time, and you shall cleanse them and offer them for an offering. Look at verse 16. For they are wholly given to me from among the children of Israel, instead of such as open every womb, even instead of the Behor, the firstborn of all the children of Israel, have I taken them to me. Look at verse 17. For all the Behor, the firstborn of the children of Israel, are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every Behor firstborn in the land of Mizraim, I set them apart for myself. How many firstborns do we have in the room? Baruch Hashem. Verse 18. I have taken them for all the Behor, the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I gave the Levim as a grain to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tent of appointed times, and to make atonement for the children of Israel. You see, so now the Levim are servants to who? To Aaron and his sons. You see the class separation here? That there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near to the sanctuary. And Moshe and Musa and Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levim according to all that Yahweh commanded Moshe concerning the Levim. So did the children of Israel to them. So we're going through the whole special process of inauguration of the Levim in their role, and we see Aaron and his sons that have their role. So it's a whole system that has to perform. The God of Israel, the Torah, is about a system. It's a system. And there's a system on top of a system on top of a system stacked up on top of a system. It's all the systems. Systems. And those of you and I know about some systems. It's all about systems. In the medical field, we call it procedures. It's all about a procedure. You have a procedure for this, and then you stack one procedure on top of another procedure on top of another procedure, another procedure. So it's all about systems. And you're right, it's all about a law and order. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's orders to correctly, systematically, procedurally obey the law. Now, a lot of the people in the family don't understand that. We don't comprehend the system. This is why it needs to be taught to us. This is why it needs to be explained to us so that we can go out and we can execute upon instruction. Execution is key. But you can execute all day long and all day strong. But if the instruction is faulty, what good is the execution? Right? You can sit here and execute, because some of you guys are the best executors in the world, but what good is execution with faulty instruction? Thus, you never see nothing materialize behind all that great execution that you're doing. And some folks get frustrated, get get disgruntled, get their underoos in a wad, because they're not seeing nothing materialize behind all the execution. I've been great execution in Catholicism. Not so much more so in Christianity, but Catholicism, there's a lot of execution. But there's nothing material that comes from it. You're just like a robot. You execute very well. Great execution. You do this at this time, we do this, at this, that, the other, and the third. And you do it again and again and again, to where you become a professional at executing Catholicism. But that's all you are. It's just like you're professional at execution. There's nothing that materializes from that. Matter of fact, it gets kind of boring after a while. It gets real stale, like stale bread, moldy bread. It's just been sitting there and not being utilized. So this is what you'll run up on sometimes. So that we have to be in the know. We have to know what's going on. We have to know that our books tell us that we need to do. You must know. Don't concern yourself. And with Queen in the Gate, we have a one-upper. With the Kohen in the Gate, we're told what we need to know. You're told everything that you need to know and some. If you didn't learn anything from his lecture, this will help you understand the role of Aaron and his sons. Now, what I find even more remarkable in this time is that the Levim are not here, but the Kohen is. Aaron and his sons are. And so what makes it even more special during this time is that, all you need is a Kohen. That's all. And it kind of explains itself away, too, if you really understand our history at whatever level you're at with your revelation, is that this. Well, we don't have a standing temple, so why do we need to live in? Think about that for a minute. But as long as there's Israel, you're going to always have a Kohen. Think about that for a minute as well. This is what you need to know. Well, the Levim are not here, so what? All you need is a son of Aaron. That's all you need. Think about that for a minute. That's all you need. Temple standing? Yeah, the Levim going to come in and play the role. But this may be why you don't see like Israel. You don't see like the Levim popping up everywhere. Because they're not needed right now. This is not the period for that. The period for right now is to be in the know. So who's going to put Israel in the know? But the sons of Aaron. Because Aaron can't do it, but his sons can. His descendants can. Moses can't do it. Moses is not here on this earth. But Aaron and his son, Aaron can't do it, but his sons can. His sons can, Mishpahah. So who cares? Who cares what we do not know? You see, it was very important for me to make sure that my son is in the know. My firstborn son, Nachshon. He needs to be in the know. He don't need to be like his dad was in the unknown, but just fed a whole bunch of just like malarkey, if I can use that word. And this is why I named him Nachshon, to connect him back to who he really is so he can stay in the know. And no matter what anybody tells him, because people going to tell him all kind of stuff. Where'd that name come from? Blah, blah, blah. You see, because you must understand, in this period of life, another way to put it would be like a journey, right? Just like we learned in this Parsha, Israel went prepared for a journey. Many journeys. The master would come would lead in a fire and a cloud by day and a fire by night. This is when you will stop, begin the journey and end the journey based on looking at the cloud. We'll talk about systems. We're talking about quantum physics. And what is the Torah? You see, before they had the cloud, HaKohen, the cloud had been the cloud. Before the cloud became popular like it is now. And by the way, you might want to look at stocks to invest in the cloud, because that's where it's at. The cloud, Israel had the cloud way before, technology came around to the cloud, Baruch Hashem. Cloud stocks to invest in, Eddies. Might want to look into that. That's a good one, right, Daniel? But think about it for a minute. We had the cloud before the cloud became as popular. And cloud is really popular now in a plague, in a pandemic, in an epidemic, man, I'm telling you. Because listen, everything now is going to go into the cloud. You got a lot of these big old corporations. They're going to start putting a lot of their information, not in brick and mortar, but in the cloud. So people can stay and work from anywhere in the world, from their home. Don't have to go to a brick and mortar building anymore. Because all the information will be stored in the cloud, and everybody can access the cloud from wherever you are. You don't have to go to the corporation and behind the security and blah, 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 blah. It's the cloud. Technology is in that way, and all this pandemic did, I told you, there's great innovation coming out of this epidemic, this plague, is what? The prosperity of the cloud. Look to the cloud, Mishpahah. So when Israel, our forefathers, the Hebrews, saw the cloud stopped, they stopped. The cloud moved, they moved. What's our cloud today, Mishpahah? Think about it. Any of you are looking outside right now, the beautiful blue skies of San Antonio, Texas. I don't see many clouds, but I do follow the cloud. Rabbi Simon out there is my cloud. He moves, I move. He says stay put, I stay put. That's my cloud. I'm Israel. You can't tell me that I'm not. You cannot tell me that I'm not Israel. You can't tell me, because I know. And I give thanks to the Master that I'm in the, and my son, Nakshan, he'll be in the know. Just as well. Because he'll know. And he'll be a leader in the know. And I always tell him, you're going to be a leader. You're going to help many people. You're going to lead. You're going to help many people. And you're going to do great things for many people. Great things. And you're going to help many people. I tell them that every day. It's only 8 months, but I tell them that every day. But it brings me to the journey point. And we're in a journey right now. We're on a journey. Now, how many? It depends on you how you want to go through your journey. But I tell you, I want to go through my journey happy, healthy, humble, wealthy, peaceful. That's how I'm gonna go through my. That's not what I want. That's how I'm through my journey. Peace is me. Health is me. Prosperity is me. Humility is me. Happiness is me. I am that. Or like they like to say in North America, I be that. Because I be that. I be that. I am that health. I am that prosperity. I am that wealth. I am that abundance. I be that. I'll be that. I'll be that. I'll be that. I be that. Right, Daniel? In the cloud. Third confirmation, Rabbi Zachariah, Baruch Hashem. The cloud. Telling you, Mishpahah, your cloud is Rabbi Simon out there. Some of you don't know whether you're coming or going. Why? It's because you're not looking to the cloud. On your journey, if you don't follow the cloud, let's look at the Hebrews. Let's go back and let's imagine ourselves as the Hebrews wandering in the desert. And believe me, they were wandering in the desert. Rough conditions, Mishpahah. The people are complaining. Look, man, got us out here, and I'm paraphrasing, and all we got to eat is this manna. When back in Egypt, we had, we had our fish, and we had our meats, and we had our cucumbers and our melons. Yet now we out here in the desert eating this, this manna from heaven. Do you see it? These were people that just didn't know. They just didn't know. Or they got amnesia real quick and totally forgot. Or they only think for the thought of the period that they're in now and don't consider the longevity of where they've been and what they came out of. I mean, you come out of slavery, and then now you talking up slavery like it's the next best thing next to sliced bread. And we see the same thing taking place in today's time as well. You don't believe me? How many of you see what's going on over there in Seattle? Seattle is a hot mess, man. Yet the people are saying they want the socialism and blah, 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 and we're going to block up these streets, and this going to be our area, the people are taking over. We want this, and it's ours. And we renaming it, this is our place. We want all law enforcement out, we run this. The people going to run it. Well, we want socialism and isms, and we need to, everything needs to be taken care of by the government needs to take everything we need. We don't need to do nothing for ourselves. But you see, you can't have it both ways. So the reports are, when fires started in their little so-called makeshift city, whatever it is, you know the thing that they called for? EMS. They were calling for the fire department. But wait a minute. You don't need law enforcement. Wait a minute. And then there were reports that food started running out. And so they were asking and putting out petitions for food. Hey, can you guys give us some food in here? While we're in here trying to hold up this whatever thing y'all got going on there in Seattle. That doesn't work. That model doesn't work. But again, when you realize that the grass is not greener, like folks are going to realize now, they're realizing it now. Through experience, we tried it. This doesn't seem to be working out too well. It didn't kind of formulate like we imagined it was going to work out. Now at this time, my desire is that, cooler heads will prevail, and that people will really begin to come back to reality and really just, go back to, the infinite abundance of having, the freedoms that they once had. And now that they realize it, now that, they've taken hold of freedom, as they call it, they realize that that's not even a form of freedom. So I look at that and I just shake my head. I'm like, okay, leave them. I'm gonna be too good. I'm too preoccupied with making this state that I'm in a success, making this state that I'm in a blessing, and being a do-gooder, and being a great assistance, and being an innovator, and being in service to the state that I'm in, like I always talked about states. That's the role that I have to play. Because I wrote this down, Rabbi. Protest is a position of weakness, not power. When you're protesting, just like I clearly mentioned to you, boy, that was some great revelation, right? If you got a hold of a placard that says, Black Lives Matter, what position are you coming from? You're coming from a position of weakness already. Just like you said, you're on the placard. Without the placard, what does it mean? The Black lives don't matter? That's what you're really saying. From a psychological standpoint. So, I wrote this statement down. Protest is a position of weakness, not power. Do you get it, Mishpah? I totally get what our colleague was saying. Yeah. So you're affirming that you're nothing. That, you're affirming, and I'm not saying you have to be braggadocious and blah, 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 but again, it's, North America was founded upon immigration. This melting pot of all of these different, cultures and races of people come together for the common good of what? Peace, prosperity, love, happiness, joy. That's it. Shabbat shalom. That's it at the end of the day. Focus on what you know. Who cares about what you don't know? A lot of you do. You do. Why? Because all your energy is placed on what you do not know. The mystery of what I do not know, and I don't know that, I just don't. But let's look at what you do know. Focus on what you do know, because when you focus on what you don't know, that's literally a distraction to your what? Affirming anything, to you manifesting anything. Think of what I'm saying. It's true. It's a detour. It's a distraction. It's a decrease when you're focusing on things that you do not know. Now, I'm telling you something that was taught to us, that we learn in our history from the garden. When you look at what happened with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of life. Because think about it. If the woman would have just focused on what she knew, everything would have been cool, right? But no, she had to focus on what she didn't know and the mystery of not knowing. Do you get where I'm going? This is an old lecture that can take us way, 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 way back to the beginnings of the downfall and the excommunication from the garden, from paradise. Was having the mindset of the unknown. What I don't. You mean I didn't know I could think like God and have the same thought process like God. But wait a minute. Before I go there and let my mind get preoccupied with that mumbo jumbo, what do I know? Is what the woman should have been saying. Well, I know that my husband told me don't partake of that tree. That's what I know. Now, which one you gonna choose? See how this goes all the way back to the garden? And the reason why we were excommunicated from paradise, from the garden, from perfectness to plowing, is because what? We didn't put all our energy on what we do know. Our energy was placed on the mystery of not knowing and not the magic of what we do know. And that's what I would encourage all of you this day to consider. Just to place your energy on what you do know. What you do know. This is when things will begin to materialize in your life. Energy is a beautiful thing. And you've all been given the gift of energy. But the most important thing we must understand is, how do we use, how responsible are we going to be with our energy? Wow, that's a question that we all need to examine and ask ourselves every day. Maybe even affirm, how can I want to be more responsible with the energy that I do have. I don't want to waste it. I truly want to respect it. I want to enhance it. I want to make it stronger. I want to be known. I want to be renowned. Not from the haughty side of things, but from the humble side. What do you want to be known for? Think about that. What do you want to be known for? You're in a relationship with people all the time. What do you want to be known for? You don't have to text it in. You don't have to type it in. But there's something that you need to ask yourself. What do you want to be known for? Your energy. You won't die. You'll definitely change forms, but you won't die. But the form that you're in right now, what would you like to be known for? Known for being generous? Known for helping others? No. Do you know how mighty the Kohen is? Yet he's just this humble man. Do you know how mighty? Do you know how many folks HaKohen has helped come into the know? Do you know HaKohen is the father of many nations? Do you understand that? Well, how can you say that, Rabbi Kefa? It's because those hidden truly great scrolls, the Abrahamic-Faith Bible goes all around the world. 2 videos go all around the world. HaKohen is the father of many, many nations. And many people look up to him and see him as a father figure. How are we told we're to treat others? Think about that for a minute. Honor and respect, or hate and protest? Think about that for a minute. Love and compassion, or tale-bearing and backstabbing? Think about that for a minute. What do you know? What I want you to know this day is that there is a Kohen in the gate, and his name is Rabbi Simon Alpert. That's what I want you to know this day. You listening via YouTube, you listening live, right now. How many of you know that? We have to come from a position of strength. Because remember I told you, protest is a position of weakness, not power. But being in the know, that's the position of power. Because you know. How many of you in this room could be persuaded that you're not Israel? Anybody? How many of you in this room right now, if somebody would interrogate you, they can persuade you that you're not Israel? You get all the scholars with all the titles behind their name, and they sit you in this room, and all the historians in the world, even some of the ones that they build up, and they say, okay, all these people are telling you you're not Israel. How many of you in this room could be persuaded that you're not Israel? Think about that for a minute. Think about that. You see, because we got to come from a position of strength, not a position of weakness. And knowing is a position of strength. But majority of energies today by a lot of folks is they waste their energy on things that they really don't know about. They just hear other people say these things, you see. They hear other people say these things, and that their energy runs with that, but they really don't know. You see, you have to come from a position of knowing. What do you know? But really, come on now, really. What do you know opposed to what you don't know? I see a lot of religion. There's a lot of things that they don't know. So they come from a position of weakness because they do not know. And thus being weak, they're easily swayed to whatever wow want to come their way. You understand what I mean? Because they don't know, and this is why they're hopping, skipping, they change so many things, and it just changes from one day to the next. You don't know whether you're coming or going. Because literally at the end of the day, it comes down to this. What do you know and what you do not know? That's what it comes down to. And see, so what you know is just like the question that I posed to you. Can anybody tell you right now that you're not Israel? You're not Israel. Can anybody tell you right now that you're not Israel? That's how you should know that you know with everything that you know. come Shiloh or Sheol. Nobody's going to tell me that you can't. You can try, but you can't. This is how you need to know things. This is coming from a position of strength. I don't know about Seattle, so I can't commentate on that. I can just tell you what I see and make an assessment and say, okay, that's a bunch of foolishness. You see, because I'm a man of peace. I believe in peace. But what you must understand with peace is that sometimes, well, let's just say, there'll be some situations where you can have all the peace in the world, yet you'll be in an environment where they won't accept your peace. What do you do when you're in that kind of situation? Anybody have any experience in that? What do you do when you are and I'm going to take you to the scripture where the Master talks about this. Where you're in a position where you're a man of peace, you're a woman of peace, yet people around you, that peace is not something that they desire or aspire for themselves. Well, just remove yourself from the situation, yeah. But more importantly, what else can you do? The Master talked about this. When you look at Matthew chapter 10, verse 13, he's talking about this, and he was talking to his rabbis. He's like, hey, you go somewhere, and I'm paraphrasing. You go somewhere, and if you feel like they don't accept your peace, then you don't give it to them. You take your peace with you, because they don't deserve peace. You got to make the judgment call. Yeah, you remove yourself from the situation, but then you take the peace with you. You know what that's saying? That's Matthew chapter 10, verse 13. That's saying, when you roll up on situations like this in your world, in your nation, and you're in your neighborhood, whatever it may be, you have to guard yourself against picking up the protest mentality. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? You could be like the only peaceful guy around, yet everybody around you talking and they gossiping and they tale-bearing, and before you know it, you kind of, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, he no good. You see what I mean? Make sure you take your peace with you. Yeah, you remove yourself from the situation, but you take your peace with you too. You don't take the protest baggage with you, and before you know it, you start marinating on it. Man, these people right. And the boss man never been good to none of us. When you just got raised from the boss man. The boss man just gave you a raise. Yet you at the water cooler and you hear them jealous, envious, gossiping about boss man. And you go back and sit with your dad, you're like, yeah, now that I look at boss man, I agree with them, that group over there. You didn't take your peace with you. You see, some folks are not worthy of peace, you see. They're not worthy of it. And so again, you don't give them the time of day, you keep your peace, and you take your peace with you. You can't leave them in peace because they don't want it. So you don't give it to them. You leave them in their state the way they want to be in. Some people are just happy being angry birds. That's it at the end of the day. You're going to run into folks just like that. You're going to run into folks just like that. They're happy being miserable, and they want everybody else around them to be miserable. They're happy being depressed, and they want everybody else around them to be depressed. They're happy being angry, and they want everybody else around them to be angry. They're happy being hateful, and they want everybody else around them to be hateful too. You're going to find that. You're going to find that. They're happy gossiping. And they'll sit there like birds and they'll chirp all day long. Chirp, 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 chirp. And they have nothing, if they have nothing to gossip about, then they're not happy. They're not happy. And I'm not singling out women, but in my particular profession, I see a lot of these nurses, they get together and they start like chirping birds. Oh, you know, he sleep with this one, and this doctor, and they blah, 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 blah. You know, he married girl, oh, child, blah, 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 blah. You see? I'm like, wait, what the heck? And it says, old men today chirp like a flock of birds too. Oh, indeed they do too. I know they do. I hear that as well. So it does go both ways. Because I don't want to be one, Rabbi Kefa, he said women are gossipers and blah, blah. No, it goes both ways. It does go both ways. But like I said, in my particular profession, that's what I see. Because I'm surrounded by a whole lot of women. Not many male nurses out there. We're out there, but we're all few. And so you get and that church. What good is that doing? That's not doing good for nobody. But they're happy in that environment, and that's what they like. So I take peace with me. I don't leave them with no peace. I take my peace with them because they don't deserve peace. You have to be understand. A lot of folks are not worthy of peace. What? Because they don't exhibit peace. They exhibit protest and tearing down things and just tearing down individuals. If not burning buildings, they're burning down individuals with the words that they speak out of their mouth. If you learn anything from our Parsha, you'll learn that Miriam had an issue there too, to where she started speaking things, that if she'd have just minded her business, she'd have been fine. But she tried to get in Moses' business, her brother's business. What did she end up with, Mishpahat? Great lesson. You better learn it. Those that are wise will understand. You just need to mind your business sometimes. Well, all the time, matter of fact. What does Seattle have to do with Rabbi Kefa? Totally nothing. So I'm going to mind my business. I'm super busy, putting out, positive energy in the state where I live, Texas, in the state where I live, Antonio. To put out positive energy, to do great things, to be in service to my city, to help others around me, to help all of God's, humanity, all of God's people, all this energy around me. And I'm helping. And I'll continue to do that too until I take my last breath on this earth and end this journey to move on to the next journey, Baruch Hashem. Go from strength to strength. I'm not going to go from strength to weakness, Mr. Hart. It's not going to happen. And that should not be the desire for any of you in this room. Let it be. Let it be as you see it, as you want it. Let it be. I got a lecture brewing up on that. Let it be. And it goes back to Bereshit. Let it be. Let it be. How do you want it to be? How do you want it to be? That's what it will be. How do you want it to be? You gotta let it be. I'm getting ready to close, but look, don't let this life be a mystery. Don't let this life be a mystery to you. Can we just talk about let it be? Don't let this be a mystery to you. Don't see life as a mystery. Let magical. Let your life be magical. Every day is magical to you. Not a mystery. Not wondering, how I'm going to pay this bill. The Illuminati trying to kill me. All of this stuff that just are, like I talked about earlier, distractions, detours, and decreases. Isn't that Paul McCartney song? I think so, right? Let it be. Just let it be as you will it to be. The Master Yeshua, he used to always say, what do you want? What do you want? Let it be. As you say it, so it will be. And Miriam can tell you a great lesson on that when you see her. She should have never said that about my brother. Because everything that you say has repercussions to it. And you got to pay the restitution as well. It comes with a price. So we must be careful what we speak at all times. The men and women of peace. That's in our DNA. Men and women of peace. That's in our DNA. Not protesting, Mishpah. We're men and women of peace as children of Israel. Now, if you're not children of Israel, then you can go do, you happy protest, making the most coolest sign in the world to be put on TV so everybody can see you, then go do that. But that's not me. That's not in my DNA. I've never been one to protest. I've always been a man of peace. And I'll continue to be a man of peace. I'll continue to be a man of peace. My descendants that come after me will be men of peace. Because I understand this is a journey. I understand. Just like the Hebrews, they were going through a journey here in Numbers. Look, Numbers chapter 10. Numbers chapter 10, verse 11. And it came to pass the 20th day of the second month in the second year, the cloud was taken up from off the tent of testimony. Well, did we just talk about the cloud? Now the cloud is very popular, Mishpah. But the cloud was popular back then, right, Mishpah? I told you the cloud. Israel, you better get with the cloud. There's much prosperity in the cloud in 2020. You listen to me on YouTube as well. You all want to be prosperous? You better get with the cloud. I'm telling you. That's where it's at. You want to leave a legacy for your children and your children's children and prosperity and wealth? Get with the cloud. That means, okay, well, what are you saying, Rabbi? If you have children, you better start training them up in the cloud, IT technology. That's where it's at. IT technology, robotics, that's where it's at. Computers, that's where it's at. You better get with the cloud. The cloud was popular for our ancestors, and the cloud is even more popular today. Get with the cloud. Invest in the cloud, and my son, Nakshan, one of his first toys that he got was a toy laptop, and he loves that little thing. He plays with that even to this day. He loves his little laptop, and he plays with it because he sees his dad on laptop all the time. And I told you, Eddie, I sit down with Nakshan, and we're going through charts. And we're looking at the high of the day, we're looking at the low of the day, and we're plotting our Fibonacci's, and he's looking at all this stuff. So, he got to where he was just messing with my laptop. I said, man, now it's time for you to get a laptop. And he's only 8 months old. You see, this is a new conditioning that we're getting now. Baruch Hashem. Not none of that mumbo jumbo, we're going to sit here and watch some cartoons. No, we're going to look at some charts. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my Tom and Jerry. Me and Tom and Jerry, we're friends forever, you see. Yeah, Daniel, Tada, Daniel, I got to give you a shout out. I got to watch Leo. You know Leo, you hooked us to Leo? He's watching Leo's high today, low today. Yeah, so he's watching all that, and he's learning, and he sees it. And so he's got his little laptop, and he's doing his little thing, and he's fucking around and hitting buttons and blah, blah, blah. So, Bukashim, children of Israel, so get with the cloud. That's where it's at. Technology, that's where it's at. Cloud for our forefathers. We just read it in Numbers chapter 10, verse 11. When that cloud, what happens when the cloud is taken up, Mishpah? When the cloud moves. And let me tell you, I'm going to give you some insight as well. You know how Kohen, he told you guys, he told us that he's getting ready to travel. How many of you knows when the cloud is getting ready to move? So what does that mean? There's going to be movement. There's going to be some changes within the family. And I say that in a good way. There's going to be some change. There's going to be movement. We're on the journey, but the journey is on the move now. I want you to pay close attention to what goes on. It travels outside of America. I want you to pay close attention to what goes on. Pay very close attention. The cloud is moving, Mishpah. Now, from our understanding of our history, what happens when the cloud moves? Like we just read there in Numbers chapter 10. When our Torah tells us that the cloud was taken up from off the tent of testimony, what does that mean? Anybody tell me? When the cloud, Daniel says, we move. Okay, so there's movement. We have to move, right? Time to go. Lion Person says, it's time to go. So when the cloud is taken up, it's time to go. Now let's look at verse 12 of Numbers chapter 10. And the children of Israel took their journeys out of the wilderness of Sinai. And the cloud rested in the wilderness of Paran. Okay, what happens when the cloud rests? You see? What happens when the cloud rests? Then we rest. We stop. We stay put. That don't mean we just shut it down. We stay at this place. And I tell you, in my life, I've been at this place. I've been resting for a while at the place of family for a long time. Many, many years ago, the Imhokma told me that, it was time to establish and bed down your family. And I've been in that rest state for a very long time now. We've been in that state. And I'm starting to see the fruits of that state, of that rest, as I have an 8-month-old son running around here, over Hashem. And it's a beautiful thing. I see, what Mo was saying, it's time to start building up the family. You see, because we can't talk about going back to a land without a family. Think about that for a minute. I mean, we have to prepare ourselves physically, and spiritually for the land. And that was one of my ignorant things that I did not know. Because one of the first things, Mishpahah, when I came into the knowledge of the truth of the Torah, was like, you know what my prayer was, my petition? Yah, take us back to Israel now. I'm ready to go back. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I was like, Yah, come now. Come now. Take us back to our land. Whatever needs, I was ready to go back. But it wasn't time. Remember, we talked about process. Remember, we talked about the system. There's a system in these things. Systematically, we must prepare ourselves. Land preparation is happening in where? In the nations. Outside of the land. And that's what we're doing now. We're in that preparation mode. So now the cloud has positioned itself in Paran. Okay, what happened there? Look at now. Now look at Numbers chapter 10, verse 15. And they took their journey according to the commandment of Yahweh by the hand of Moshe. Now it's time to take the journey again. Now, again, remember I told you, always tell Nachshon you're a leader. Look where it comes from right here. Numbers chapter 10, verse 14. In the first place went the banner of the camp of the children of Yahudah according to their army. And over his host was who? Nachshon, the son of Aminadab. Do you see what I mean? That's why I tell Nachshon all the time, you're going to be a leader. You're leading in the journey, Baruch Hashem. You're Judah. You're from the clan of Yahudah. You're a leader, not a follower. In all humbleness, you got to assume your role. Nachshon, son of Cleopas, not of Aminadab, son of Cleopas. You're a leader. Son of Kefa, you're a leader. You lead. The banner, you hold the banner for Yahudah. And he will do that, and he will do that very well. And he will leave a great legacy for his children and his children's children going forward. But where that generation is coming back. Your journey, we're like the beginning. We're like that generation. We're that generation that's going to establish Israel once again. Because Israel seemed to get amnesia in the nations. We forgot who we were, right? We not. But now guess what? We know. So there's a big difference between do not know, knowing, or don't know and being in the know. There's a big difference. It's a gulf. It's night and day. We want to be in the know. So that when we make this journey, take this journey, do the journey, because you're already in it. Everybody on the face of this earth is in a journey. The question is, what are you doing with it? How are you utilizing the energy that you have? Are you disrespecting it? Do you respect it? Are you trying to decrease the energy? Increase the energy? What are you doing with it? Is it just sitting there idle? Or is it being productive? In your state. Like I already talked about states. In the state that you're in. And that state could be a physical state, and it could be a state of being, or a state of mind. there's many things in this period that we're in right now that can be influencers to you. You have to guard yourself. Like Moshe, like Musa, like Moses told us. He told us to be strong and be strengthened. You have to guard yourself against, these events and situations up here that can be distractors and be detours and preventing you from meeting the marks you desire for yourself of being happy, being humble, being healthy, being at peace, being full of love and joy. Default settings for all humanity. Yet, not all humanity likes the default settings. Because how many of you know sometimes you go into your computer and you change the settings, right? You change the settings to fit and meet your particular way and how you see things ought to work. Some people are not happy with default settings. And so be it. So my encouragement to you this day, and I'll say the statement again because it came to me this morning just like as clear as this blue sky out here. Don't let this life be a mystery. Maybe when you came in the past, it was a mystery, and you're going around this time and it's a mystery, and you're going to the next life, it's going to be a mystery and a mystery. No, you have to get off the mystery train. Don't let this life be a mystery to you, but let this life be magical. Do great things. Many people. Be notorious. Even if just being notorious for being a man of peace, a woman of peace. Even if just being notorious for being which is not just even, that's like a great thing. But being notorious for being a woman of love, and a man of love, a man of kindness, a man of compassion, a woman of compassion, a woman of love, a loyal woman, a humble man, hard-working man, a smart working man, Baruch Hashem. These are things that's important in today's time. And this kind of energy that we need to leave in our state of being, in the state that we physically live in. And that's what we need to be doing. And that's the cry for Israel going forward. From the tribe of Judah, is that we stand for what we believe in, and we execute, and we demonstrate, and we live what we believe. We're not a religion. We're a way of life. We're a people. We're a family at the end of the day. Let them religions do what they do, but we're a family. That's what we are. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. And we'll leave any questions, but I just want you to keep this in the of your mind, is that the cloud is getting ready to move. So what can we look for? Be on the lookout for great things. Be on the lookout for great things. Let that be. Be on the lookout for miraculous things happening. Be on the lookout for more revelation coming. Be on the lookout for whatever you're on the lookout for. For that husband, for that wife, for that house, for that car, for that job, for that increase in bank account, for whatever you want. That's going to make you happy, give you peace, give you love, give you joy at the end of the day. And know it. Know it. Don't let nobody come in and tell you can't. Oh, you'll never get a husband. Don't let nobody, you know you're going to get a husband. Because you know. Just like you know you're Israel. Don't let nobody come in and tell you, well, you know, ego, I go, ego, she go, we go. I don't care what kind of go coming. Don't let them come in and tell you you can't be wealthy. You can't be a millionaire. You can't have perfect health because you can. You can't have a perfect immune system because you can. Because why? You know you can. You know. You got to know that you know. Because if you don't know that you know, then here comes ego. Think about that for a minute. Because after that lecture, I call you. Yeah, because if you don't know that you know, then you leave the opportunity for ego to come in and totally annihilate to where you don't know. And the first words that I hear in talking and conversing with folks is, "Oh, Rabbi, I'm so confused. Where does that come from?" That is the byproduct of ego's work, right? Is what? Confusion. That's from the invokable, by the way. On that note, we'll wrap, and I'll turn it back. If you guys have any questions, please, get them out there. Hey, believe me, utilize the Kohen. He's for us. He is for us. He's Yah's inheritance, but he's for Israel. Utilize the Kohen. So I'll say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to you. Have a great 6 days of labor ahead, and let's continue to do the great works and meet our marks. Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom.
Toda for that, Rabbi Kefa. Whilst Rabbi Kefa was doing the lecture, I got a couple of emails response from I told you that I sent this particular healing method to a COVID-19 patients. 2 patients are actually have COVID-19 over there in the East. So I got a report back that they're feeling very, very well now. And they thanked me profusely for helping them. So I'm going to send it again one more time today. I told them I'll send it one more time today to help them further, so that it can eliminate quickly the virus and get them on the mend. Other than that, I was looking at the different programs. So you may want to have a look at it. There's a lot of different programs in there. And if you understand medicine and terminologies like I do, then of course, I go to the exact program I need to send for a particular patient so that they can help them. But the COVID-19 on this website, it doesn't say it's guaranteed, it says experimental. So I sent a little email to the doctor telling him that your experimental program is actually worked very well for 2 actual patients that I've tested it on. So he can write, he can put a little review if he likes underneath saying that it has been used on COVID-19 patients with good effect. And that's actually good enough for using on other patients. So with that, most of the things I taught you, go back to the lecture, re-listen to it again. You may need to listen to it 2, 3, 4 times to grasp what I have said, because I may have said some things very fast, because, I didn't want it to drag the time out, just like a buffer. I wanted to give you everything, boom, and you kind of cipher through it, you re-listen to it, and you ascertain it. So the name Israel is mentioned in the Bible many, many times, and you will note that the name Israel wasn't mentioned in the beginning, not in a direct reference. It was mentioned without a direct reference. You piece together the words, the pictures of the Hebrew, and it's mentioned, but it was actually mentioned directly in subsequent chapters. And when Jacob was named Israel, that's when Jacob took on the principles and the powers that came with that title. Consider it a title more than anything. It's like calling somebody doctor, or calling somebody professor, or saying president, or saying prime minister. So Israel is a title. Don't see it as anything else. It's a title. And the title bequeaths the holder with certain powers. Now, you need to know how to use those powers, and I gave you a method today. So I would encourage you to, if you take that Bible, and if you got a paint package, I can't post a picture over here because I don't know what will happen if I posted it. I've never tried it. I don't see any attachment links here to attach a picture in this particular session. But basically, you piece together the words for the letters of Israel, and once you piece them together, you're going to have like a Yod and a Shin and a Resh, etc., Aleph and Lamed, and then you're going to produce a word Yisrael or Israel. And that is the word I want you to play with, and I want you to take it, print it out, put it on a piece of wall. Maybe if you don't have your wall, if you're not allowed to put it on the wall, you put it on your notepad, something you can look at. And I want you to focus on it. Maybe for no more than 2 minutes. at max, even a minute. Just take the words in the most ancient Hebrew and just stare at it for a minute and then put it away. That's what you're going to do every day. Okay? And so report back. After you've done that, then report back. You have my meditation sessions. And I want you to. I had a report from another one of our family members. He basically said that he does meditation twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. He told me that the meditation sessions that I gave him, one of them is I think it's a chakra, third eye chakra activation, and one of them is the latest one I sent, the rise of abundance. He said he runs those twice a day. And he also told me that he secured a contract. I believe he said he secured a contract for $5,000. Some contract in the business that he is in. And it's amazing, he said, that it's happened because his life is being, changing, enhancing, and working better and better. $5,000 is not a small amount of money, by the way, so I'm very happy for him. And he told me, I asked him, how he runs his daily sessions. He said morning and evening. Those two meditation sessions are a must. I just run those. He said, I haven't even wrote any affirmations yet. I'm just running your sessions, and that's it. And things are coming my way. Things are changing. Prosperity is coming. Happiness is coming. So he said he's really happy. Things are really happening for him. And he's happy with that. Simcha saying, should a small menorah be lit in the home during affirmation or only lit olive oil candle? Shabbat Shalom Rav Hakohen Rabbi Kefa Rabbi and Mishpacha Shuatov. Simcha, you can definitely, if the menorah is the type that you're allowed to light it, because some menorahs, they can hold oil, others can't. So if it's one of those that you can put some oil in it, olive oil, they can easily purchase at your Walmart or other stores. You can stick some olive oil in it and you can light it up, and you can definitely do your affirmations. Absolutely no problem about it. And that will create an energy and an aura in your home. You can do that. And if you don't have a menorah, then you can take ordinary candles and you can put those candles you can light those candles. You can buy those from Walmart as well. So there's many ways to bring the energy, but when you light a menorah, you have 7. It's like having 7 candles at the same time. So unless you're going to light 7 candles together, you can just light one menorah, and then it gives you the result of 7. And 7 has a meaning behind it. It's not just complete, it's more than that. 7 is much more than complete. And so 7 is an important letter, important numeric, and also it has other meanings. So do that. It will be helpful. It will help your energy levels, and it will help your home as well. So I did test out the program I've given you. Test it out, see if it works for you, and report back any problems, because I'm in touch with the doctor that produced that program, and I can always take any feedback to him and say, such and such, good or bad, and then he can look at it, because he's still developing this program further. So with that, I will say have a great Shabbat, North America. And those of you in the European side, I know that a lot of your countries are still in lockdown, especially the UK. I don't think that they've completely opened yet. They're still in lockdown. They may be continuing through July. July things are going to open, and then something's going to open in August, etc., all the way to October. So this year, as you know, most countries are going to be in and out of lockdown. So be well, stay safe, keep up the good work, and lift up the Torah in your homes. Baruch Hashem Yahweh, have a happy Shabbat and week ahead. Todah. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.